Hello. I am back yet again for more streaming. Here I am. It's me, Josiah. It's Middara, Tabletop Simulator. I'm with Tim.
Quite the introduction, but
Yeah, it wasn't my best. She kind of phoned it in there.
he was just saying facts.
Yeah, hi, it's a stream. Nobody's even here to listen to this right now, so I'm actually only talking in the off chance that somebody watches the VOD of this stream.
Okay.
I mean, because, I don't have any viewers yet. I've only been streaming for a minute and 45 seconds. Usually I have like a 10-minute little.
Well, yeah, like I haven't gotten the notification yet that your channel's gone live.
Yeah. I mean, Nox will probably show up first. Nox or Sun might drop in. Oh, Saito's here first. Wow, he got here quick. Hi, Saito.
Hey, Sato.
Can I be heard, Saito? I think I can. So Tim and I are in the middle of a scenario here. He says, how goes it? It goes pretty well.
Yep, going good.
In my dream, one of the things they did was they said racism, it's a problem, prejudice. So what we're going to do is eliminate race. So they just like mathematically or like randomly like chose one race, and it was basically like Arab people. And they said, we're going to get rid of everyone on Earth that isn't this narrow race. And then there's only going to be one race of humans, and therefore there'll be no more racism. You're welcome. Hey, what's up, Dennis? And then they also declared that everyone was bisexual. And they're like, that's it. That's that. There's only one sexuality now. Everyone's bisexual. If you feel like you're not bisexual, you just have a preference. But don't worry, you're really bisexual. Everyone's the same. No, there's no reason for prejudice. Everyone's the same. And then they just indoctrinated everyone into that. Because, I'm thinking like this is how a computer would think to eliminate problems, right? But the dream was really realistic feeling when I was in it. Like I really bought into it being real, and I kept falling back asleep and going back into the same dream. So I feel like I was having that dream for like many hours. How you doing, Dennis? There's technically only one race of humans. There's different ethnicities, but not different races. But what do they mean when they say race? I'm not really even sure what that word means exactly. I know how it's used. So where are we in this scenario?
Well, it's Zeke's turn. We've got one water Loa. We have a totem yet undiscovered. We have a sword we need to pull from the stone.
And
we have optional cave sickles.
And Remy is dead. Remy is
has been defeated.
Actually dead. She can return the haste token over here because she's no longer hasted. There's the quick and the dead, and she's no longer the quick. So it's Zeke's turn. We've saved all the loot from the river. That was the important thing.
Yep.
Hey, Nox, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, Nox.
Nox says, yeah, we only let one race of humans in when they came begging to us looking for a place to stay in the great bovine empire. Well, it was nice of the cows to let us crash on their planet. Cows came before humans, scientific fact. I don't know how old cows are as a species. Like, how long have there been cows? Probably a long time, right? I mean, Nox's answer is going to be that there have literally always been cows since, like, before the Big Bang. Somehow there were cows, but All right, what is Zeke doing? I'm a little suspect of triggering that red totem with him over there by himself. He's pretty badly hurt, and he doesn't have any heals left. So I don't know what to do. Oh, there's still a water loa down here.
Yep.
All right, well, he'll go shoot at her then. Didn't I already do that? Guess not. Wait. Oh, right. So he's getting his 3 stamina. He's spending 1 to move slightly. And he is gonna shoot. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I didn't put my little music on in the background. I was like, why does it feel so quiet? It feels so quiet because it's so quiet. But now I gotta do the volume mixer thing, because iTunes doesn't get quiet enough. Race has a very narrow taxonomic meaning. It's effectively the thing just below species. Oh. Interesting. In the beginning there was darkness, and then there was light, which was actually the black and white spots of the celestial cow. See, I bet Nox has his own advanced eschatology.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Nox. How in the religion of the celestial cow, how does the world or time end?
Homo sapiens sapiens. Right, we got that double sapiens thing going. Glad you made it home from your travels, Dennis. You was this your trip to San Diego? Or have you not gone to San Diego yet? Alright. I'm going to try to shoot this water loa. So Zeke is spending his stamina. He's rolling teal and orange, which is decent. Okay, unfortunately we're ignoring all those symbols. Water loa does not have armor, and her defense is only 9. Got a 13. The hit of 4, but he gets +3 from the barbed arrows because she has no armor. So he actually did 7 big damage to the Loa, and there's a chance she could be poisoned. Force 9 she's rolling against.
Okay. She rolls a 9.
Okay, so she's not poisoned. Then, well, that's it. He's done.
See, the celestial cow has a happy ending. We're learning today that puts it in the minority.
Yeah. The butchers are purged from the Great Bovine Empire, and harmony reigns across the cosmos. I mean, I often wonder when these scenarios where everything's going to be great later on, what are we waiting on? Like, can we get this eschaton going more quickly?
Right.
Oh, you're not yet in that's later on, the San Diego thing. Okay. All right, so whose turn is it next? The water loa's turn.
Okay, well, the water loa has nobody within its sphere of influence. It has no effects to take away, no adjacent opponents, so it's just moving away from Zeke and attacking.
Right. He'll dodge.
Okay, he dodges.
Great, because when he dodges with that hoodie, he can counter. So he gets another shot. Oh wait, I think she's too far away now. Nope, she's not. He can still shoot her. All right, a 6 and a 4. You know what? I'm gonna re-roll the 4. I made it worse. That's a hit of, well, it's still a hit of 3 because because of the barbed arrows.
Okay. And is the poison going off again?
Poison could go off, yeah, so go ahead and roll that conviction against Force 9.
Poison!
Alright! Here, I got a poison token. No, I don't.
Okay. That's the end of the counter, then that's the end of the Waterlow's turn.
Sweet.
Capesicles aren't doing anything.
Nightingale.
Nightingale can get there.
Hold on. Do we
Okay.
want to kill... Well, it's kind of too late with the poison. I was going to say, if we kill this Waterloa, we're going to start getting into dangerous urgency token territory, but hopefully the red totem will spawn something new.
Okay. Rook.
Well, did she just move up? Is that her whole turn?
Yeah, that's all the stamina she has.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe you can use a plank to get to that sword in the stone thing.
Oh, good thought. Yeah, I'll have Rook start doing that.
Because the plank replaces the terrain under it, so you wouldn't have to make the checks at all if you put a plank there.
Okay. Okay, so Rook's going to move to there and then drop a plank.
Well, we've got some live tech support happening in the chat.
Nice.
I'm happy that Saito's getting his... There's a plank token for you. You can put it right
Thank you.
there.
That's it for Rook. So we're shuffling the track.
Shuffling the track. Waterloo goes first. I wonder if she dies of poison.
Roll some poison damage, Zeke.
2.
The Waterloo dies from poison.
Yay! Loot card. 9 gold. Thanks for setting Saito's mind at ease, Dennis. So the Loa instantly dies, which means it's now Zeke's turn. Well, Zeke is hurt pretty bad. Don't really want him to go up and do the totem. What does this thing do? Oh, it's pretty neat. Okay, somebody's got to do the totem, though. What the heck? What's the worst that could happen?
Oh my god.
Here's what he's gonna do. Hold on. You know what? He's not gonna do anything crazy. Here's what he's gonna do. You still have intervention on Rook, right?
Yes.
Alright, he's just gonna do some buffing. He's gonna give barrier and intervention to Nightingale. So there's an intervention token for Nightingale. She also gets barrier.
Sweet, thank you.
And then he's gonna move 1, 2... Red Totem! It's not that much text. Tucked away behind a pile of rocks, something stirs. If one or more fragors are on the board, read A. Otherwise, read B. Oh no, B is gonna suck.
No, B's gonna be Fragors.
You know it is! Down in Fragor Rock. If it was A, it would have been an Earth Loa spawning. But no, we're fucked. 3 Fragors scurry into... The rocks stir as 3 Fragors scurry into the open from behind the rubble. Spawn 3 Fragors adjacent to the space this totem occupied. What have I done? Oh, Fragors are the worst. Alright, well, he's only moved 2 so far. So he's gonna turn right the fuck around and start running away.
Time to go.
Oops, found some Fragors. He's yelling, Rook! Alright, so he's got 5 more squares of his first movement. I mean, he could try to kill one with a crossbow shot. He's not gonna kill one. No, he needs to bone out. So he's got five movement left. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's probably not a good direction to go. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Using all of his stamina. And he's done. He's scared of those Fragors. As he should be. Wait. Now, as for the age of the cow, I actually know this because cows were one of the model species for one of my genetics classes back in undergrad. So Saito tells us the modern cow has existed for approximately 10 to 11,000 years, but the earliest progenitors of Bovidae go back to around 12 million years ago. Wow. That's pretty awesome. Good info. Alright, the Fragors immediately get to go. Fuck. Alright. Is there an opponent within range 6? No, it's all blocked off by walls and shit. Can it move adjacent to an opponent? Not with its movement, no. Otherwise, move towards the nearest opponent. Its movement is only 4. It doesn't ignore anything, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. It can only get this far. Fragor number purple is going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. It can't even... 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it goes into the rocks... What's the story with these rocks? Slippery rocks. They have to make an agility check. Okay, it succeeds. So... nothing happens. It just stays where it is. It says currents will move loot tokens and figures through this space as though it was water. So I guess the current's actually going to move this Fragor to here. Then Fragor number 3 is going to go... Can it? It doesn't have an opponent within... Is that a clean shot on Nightingale?
Looks like it.
I think it kind of hits that corner. I don't know. What do you think? Kind of.
I mean, I think it's so close that we should give it to it.
All right.
It's gonna be -1.
-2, 1 for shooting through its ally and 1 for the green terrain. So it'll be at -2.
Okay.
So it's gonna make a range 6 attack against the furthest opponent
Dodging.
within range. Right, of course you're dodging, so roll your dodge.
Good dodge. So I'm at a 15 defense.
Oh, good, it misses. But then we gotta place a bulb token on or adjacent to the target so it's as close to as many other opponents as possible. So of course the bulb is going to be here next to both of them. Continue down. Can it move adjacent to an opponent? No, it can't. So that's it. It's done. So that's it for the Fragors. Those Fragors are fabulous. They are pretty fabulous. They've got these glowing bulbs that they shoot that are very fabulous. We've been getting all the achievements so far, yes. So whose turn is it? Oh, it's Rook's.
It's Rook. Rook's moving here. And we're going to Courage Stifle number 1.
Sounds good. What's your force?
Force 14.
Failed to resist.
Okay, so they're taking 12 big damage.
You can one-shot a Fragor with fucking Courage Stifle. That's awesome.
Wow. Let's try and do it a second time then.
One-shotted. Okay. Second time. Go for it.
Number 2. Not as good. Force 11.
9. You killed 2 of them outright. Rook is the
Alright.
Fragor Slayer.
Yeah, well, I realized I had read the card wrong and that anti-magic hub is within sphere of influence of the bulbs, not the actual Fragors themselves.
Right.
I thought it was the Fragors. I'm like, okay, these things are immune to magic.
Yeah, only if you're within SOI of the bulbs. That's right.
Okay, so that's...
It's Rule 39 of the internet, Saito. If it exists, Nox has an emote of it. So, after Rook, what happens? Cave Sickles don't do anything? So it's Nightingale?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I'm so relieved that you killed 2 of those already. Alright, are you gonna move away from the bulb? The bulb. I mean, we're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to, yeah. Got the neighborhood kids running up and knocking on my door because they think it's funny that my dog laughs when they do that.
Those neighborhood kids.
I don't like them. Okay, well, yeah, I am moving away from the bulb, so let's do that first.
Inflict poison on both of us.
We never need an immunity to poison, relic.
Do you still have the immunity to poison relic?
No.
Oh, well, you're poisoned then. So is Zeke.
I'm gonna go
Fuck.
ahead and discard my magic bomb so that I'm not poisoned.
Alright. Zeke is gonna be poisoned. That was the last bomb anybody had. Wait, does Rook have a bomb?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And she is going to euthanize this thing.
A hamster, mortal enemy of the guinea pig? Are they really mortal enemies?
Okay, so force 13, I'm going to exhaust the casting rod to do some extra damage.
An extra teal die. Nice.
Yep. Use my last stamina point to do the thing.
So what's your force?
Force 13.
I have a good feeling. 11! You did it.
Okay, so 10 magic damage.
Almost enough. But it's got wilts, right?
And wilt, yeah.
So if we land any kind of hit on it whatsoever, it'll die. She got anything else in the pipe?
No, that is all the pipe she has to lay.
Alright, sounds good. How you say. A pipe. Alright, the first cave sickles do nothing. Oh, the Fragor gets a last turn. How fun. How joyous. Well, Wilt doesn't do damage automatically to it. Is there an opponent adjacent? Nope. Is there an opponent within range 6? Yeah, there's multiple opponents within range 6. Looks like it's going after Nightingale because... No, it says the farthest opponent within range, which... Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is still Nightingale. So, ranged attack against Nightingale. Is she dodging?
Yep, dodging with the shirt.
Misses.
Okay. Alright.
It only rolled a 10. You've got an 11 base, so I know it missed.
Yeah.
So now, unfortunately, we have to place another bulb. Which will be placed so that it says... Wait, does it say something about normal terrain space? No, adjacent to as many opponents as possible. So, the current will move bulbs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, which the good news is that means if you just stand there for a second, the bulb will actually go into the pit.
Nice.
Is it doing anything else? Continue down. Can it move adjacent to an opponent with a movement of 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Yeah, all it can do is move adjacent to her. Then it's going to deal a purple die of physical damage. Oh, it's going to kill itself, but it's also going to hurt you. Purple die, 7.
Oh.
Ouch. You're going to take 7 physical damage. So that armor does reduce that if you have any.
Yeah, I've got the 1 armor.
Is that including your barrier?
Yeah.
What's giving you 1 armor?
The barrier.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
I'm taking 6.
you're taking 6. The Fragor is dead.
I've got 2 hit points left on Nightingale.
Yeah, Nightingale and Zeke are both dangerously close. And Remy already died. Very deadly encounter. The bulb remains for now. Fragor's dead. We get a loot card.
Yeah, it was a Chesco Boom Nox, you're right.
6. Yeah. Why are they? Because there was a chest. There was loot. So when we started the scenario, Saito, there were 4 chests of loot in the current. And this is a cliff over here. So all the loot was drifting up the current to go over the cliff. So we had to rescue the loot. So there was a bunch of monsters on the map, but we had to basically run past the monsters to try to rescue the loot, as any sane person would. But one of the chests was actually explosive, and when I tried to pull it out of the water, it blew up, made a hole, which spawned this whole other cave up here, which is down below that pit. Also did a bunch of damage to my character. So, yeah, this game's full of surprises.
Now, if this was some kind of an actual D&D game, we could be arguing to the DM, like, look, it's been how many rounds that river has just been pouring down on those cave sickles?
Yeah.
We wait for them to drown, and then we go down and loot the corpses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the physics are of this current right now with the hole being there. Apparently the current's still running just endlessly from these squares. I don't know if there's a current in that square or not.
Doesn't look like it.
There's not. So, you know, the current will take you into the pit on this side, but somehow there's an infinite current right here, regardless of the pit. So what just happened? The Fragor just took their turn and they're done, so it's Nightingale's turn. She's next to a bulb, so be careful.
Yeah, she's just going to take 1 stamina to do the re-equip action.
Ah, the sentient bodysuit.
Also drink a juice box.
Juice box, yum.
That's it for her. Rook.
There's also a sword stuck in the cliff up here, and this is all crumbling cliffside that'll crumble over. That's why he put that plank there, to shore it up so that we could get to that sword without falling off the cliff to our death. So, what is Rook doing? So far, nothing with the yellow objective. I'm starting to suspect the yellow objective is just the exit from the cave.
Ah, okay.
But we don't know what the purple is going to be. It could be loot. The purple gets red as soon as we draw a line of sight to it. So that we only read purple once somebody goes down the hole. Could be loot. I guess now that you've laid the plank, Zeke could go over there and get the blue objective.
I think it's a strength 10 check.
Oh, it is a strength check. It'd be best for Rook, probably. I mean, Zeke's got a strength of 4.
Oh, yeah, so that's... Rook's only got 2 more than that.
But whatever you want to do, go ahead and
well, I mean,
have fun.
It would make sense for Zeke to go because we're kind of both stuck here waiting for this bulb to go. So that's all Rook's going to do.
Oh, right. You're going to wait for the bulb to go down the hole. That's right.
Yeah.
Because of the current.
Zeke's turn.
Alright, so I guess Zeke will go for the sword then. He's got 3 stamina. He doesn't have a lot of mobility as far as this terrain stuff goes, but 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if he moves to here, he can do it. Spending 1 for a special action. Alright, so in counteraction, to do a strength 10 check. So his strength is 4. Oh, he got it, no problem. So what did we get? Read the blue objective. That's a lot of text for just you found a sword.
That it is.
That's an alarming amount of text.
You found a sword and 6 frag ore.
You pull at the blade with all your might. It slowly slides out of the dirt, and you hold it up triumphantly. Suddenly, the ground gives way beneath your feet. Place a dangerous terrain token on the space your figure occupied and place your figure on an adjacent space. Well, okay. That's not the worst thing that could happen. Because he can move to an adjacent space of this other space of the plank and still be able to get away. So half the plank collapses. Then make a lore 12 check. Oh, he sucks at lore. Rook actually would have been much better for this because Rook's got good lore.
Oh, he does have good lore.
Lore is only 2. What am I trying to roll? 12. I mean, I could technically use intervention to re-roll it, but what's my odds of even getting it? The odds of getting a 10 on 2 purple dice is pretty bad.
Oh, you have to re-roll both of them?
Yeah. Yeah, with intervention.
I think I can... Are you within my...
No. I'm outside of SOI. For now, yeah. I think I'm just gonna not pass the check. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's try it. Intervention tokens are there to be used. I could get lucky. I got lucky! Alright. If you fail this check, you don't realize how unstable the ground is. The weapon slips from your hands and plummets out of your reach as you stumble to more solid footing. If you pass, you anticipated that the ground could give way. So, I'm really glad I re-rolled that. Gain a random common weapon with the sword, axe, or knife tag. Common weapon. Okay. But not a unique, unfortunately.
I'll be right back, bud.
Alright. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw, and if it's not a sword, axe, or knife, I'm going to draw again. So this thing's got... Does this have the sword, axe, or knife tag? It's a punch dagger. It actually doesn't have the sword, axe, or knife tag, though. Really? Okay, there are no swords, axes, or knives. Here's a sword. The Ocean Cleaver. So we got an Ocean Cleaver, which is a nice sword. We got the Ocean Cleaver, which is a pretty nice short sword. Weren't several of those axes? No, those are hammers. Oh, that's an axe. You're right. Should have been this thing instead. That's an axe. That's a scythe. So I think it should have been the Ivory Axe of the Isles, not the Ocean Cleaver. Because it did say sword, axe, or knife, right? Yep. So the Ivory Axe of the Isles... It's nice. It can be thrown once per encounter. Fortunately, he doesn't have room for it in his bag right now, so it has to go to the stash. So, that's the end of his turn. He's out of stamina points. Oh, I forgot to take his poison damage, though. He takes 2 poison damage. He's gonna die from poison. But at this point, if he dies, it's not that big of a deal, probably, in this particular scenario. Shuffling the initiative track. The Fraggers are actually dead. They come out of there. So at the end of the round, this goes into the pit. And when it goes into the pit... Unoccupied water terrain space on tile UM21. The cave sickles don't do anything until we go down into that cave. They're just hanging out. So the bulb falls down there. Into the cave. Blue objective is done.
Sorry, bud.
Hey, welcome back. How you doing?
Good.
So we got an axe out of there. I put it in the stash. It's the ivory axe of the Isles. And the bulb fell down the hole into the water down there. And it's Nightingale's turn.
Okay, so are we going to go down and kill those cave sickles, or what's the plan?
It's up to you. I mean, there could be loot down there. I kind of want to know what the purple objective is.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't want Nightingale to be the first down there, like some mad woman.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rook goes last this round. She's at the bulbs.
Okay, I think that's all she'll be doing. Let's start giving people haste again.
Who did you give haste to?
It looks like Rook already has it, actually, so nobody. I can't give haste to Zeke right now.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I'll give one more stamina point to give it to myself. Okay. That's it for Nightingale. Zeke.
Alright, Zeke is going to take some more poison damage. He's probably going to die. He's got 1 hit point left. There's no way to get rid of that poison. So pretty soon it's going to be just Rook and Nightingale left.
Oh no.
Unless he can get into Magic Balm range. You've got a Balm left on Rook.
I've got 1 balm left on Rook, yeah, so...
So he just needs to move. A speed of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? No. Seven, 8. 9. He moves up to there. Everybody over here's already got barrier and intervention, right? Oh,
Yep.
he used his own intervention, so he'll use his last 1 point to give himself another intervention. He's got 17 damage out of 18. The only reason he didn't die is because he got this new hoodie, which increased his health. He would have died earlier. And now he also would be dead yet again. I'm glad we upgraded his... Okay, so Zeke's done. The Cave Sickles don't do anything yet. It's Rook.
Okay, well, yeah, Rook's going to burn the Magic Balm to clear the poison off Zeke.
Okay, thanks. I think a second person should be getting manned when we can.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
just
a good
don't
idea.
know. I just don't know who.
Oh, wait, we limited to 6 disciplines?
No, no, no. You can have as many disciplines as you want. There's just happens to
Okay.
be only 6 slots on this mat thing.
I think Nightingale would be a good one to get mend. Or Rook with the mobility. He's just already got a lot of level 1s.
True.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get rid of that, and then I'm not gonna dive down just yet.
You ordered cheeseburgers, hungry and tired. Where'd you order from? Obviously, turkey cheeseburgers.
Some Zeke, Rook's moving over there, gonna re-equip.
Re-equip.
And then Zeke will heal 6, and Nightingale 3.
From what? Oh, you can
Bunch
use
of
juice
juice
boxes on
boxes.
someone else. I forgot. As long as they're
Yeah.
adjacent. So how much did Zeke heal for?
6.
Alright. We may actually need to buy a few consumables after this one.
Yeah,
With the amount that we've
used
used.
quite a few.
I mean, we're gonna get 2 for free, but we've gone through a lot.
Yes, we did.
Oh, Remy still has a shitload of consumables on her corpse, but they can't be... You can't take
Not
stuff
being
off of a fallen ally, unfortunately. There's no rule for that. Harvey's, huh? Okay, yum.
Reshuffling the initiative track. Oh, excellent. Ideal.
Ideal drugs. There's actually, it doesn't exist anymore. There used to be, close to where I live now, there used to be a drugstore called Ideal Drugs. In my neighborhood.
So what are the rules for getting down there?
So you step onto the pit, and as soon as you step onto it, you place yourself on any water token on UM21 that you wish. And then you continue your turn as normal. So you can land anywhere on UM21 except for the dry land. You have to land in the water.
Okay.
No fun trade between unconscious friends. Sadly, no. You know, Denny's has got a pretty good burger these days.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as you are, but I've gotten a couple burgers from Denny's lately. Obviously, turkey burgers that were really good.
I might have to turkey burger it up this evening. I live right next to a Denny's. I've never gone.
Got a double turkey cheeseburger with Swiss cheese and bacon added. It was delicious. Veggie burger, right. Veggie turkey. I don't know what it was. It guaranteed no cows were harmed in the making of it. It said so right on the box, so...
Okay, so Rook descends into this little area here and is going to immediately trigger the purple and green totems.
Okay,
Or, I'm sorry.
green is not a thing. Green is just a... Oh, it is a thing, but you have to move on to it.
Okay.
And then we read a text. But purple does get read immediately. Oh, I thought it said Fragors for a second. I was about to be pissed. It's not Fragors, it's loot. In the back corner of the dark cave, you see a slumped-over corpse with a bandolier of goods. Any adventurer adjacent to this token may make an encounter action to gain 3 random consumables. Discard this token after its use. So yeah, it is. It's a bunch of consumables sitting over there.
We need our flyer. Where's Remy?
Well, we can get across this pit pretty easily without...
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah. So... You drop down, now what do you do?
Now I'm going to unleash hell on number 5 there.
There's no current on this map, so that's good. Unleashing hell.
With a force 13.
Number 5 is your guy.
Number 5 is my guy.
Needs more vivify. Actually, there is a thing, and I'm probably going to get this next on Zeke. There is a thing that lets you bring back a defeated ally. It's called From the Grave. That'll probably be the next one I buy with Zeke.
The cave sickle saved successfully, so
Wow,
Rook's going to try that again.
Trying it again.
Force 11.
Force 11. Got an 11.
And
What a dickwad.
Fucking cave sickles. Okay, that's
Wait,
it for Rook.
Oh yeah, the elder cave sickles have better conviction. That's right. We're no longer messing around with kid cave sickles. So cave sickles
No
4
more.
through 6.
Yeah. Okay, cave sickle 4.
So number 4 is over here. What's he gonna do?
All right. Is there an opponent adjacent? No. Is there an opponent within range 4? No. Can it move and attack opponent within range 4? Probably.
Have a good one, Saito. See you later.
See you, Saito. And then number 4 is attacking Rook. Rook's going to dodge.
He's in water.
Oh, Rook is in water. He can't dodge. Thank you.
Also, ooh, Rook couldn't have even cast those spells.
Why
Never
not?
mind. I'm wrong. The Fragor is not alive. Ignore me. I was thinking the bulb thing, but it's only while the Fragor is alive that it does the anti-magic thing, so you're good.
Okay, so Cave Sickle's making an attack. 9 is a miss.
Big
So
old
number
bunch of
5.
miss.
Number 5, there is not opponent adjacent. There is an opponent within range 4, so it's making a range 4 attack against Rook.
Is it not getting its hive mind benefits?
Oh, it is getting its hive mind benefits. So number 5 gets...
Number 5 only gets one, but number 4 should have gotten a bunch.
3. So let's redo number 4's attack.
Hey, it still missed because of the skull.
Misses.
And also because 2 4s is a miss. It double missed.
It missed every way you can miss. And then number 5 is making a ranged attack that will hit. Ouch.
That doesn't miss at all. Super hits.
We're going to go ahead and forebode.
Oh, foreboding.
Forcing the cave sickle to reroll both dice.
Ah, that's a good one. Who's going to get the second forebode? Everyone wants forebode.
7 is a miss.
Good job making a miss.
Then move to be adjacent to the opponent with the most damage within movement range. Okay, he can attempt to jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to where south of where Rook is.
He can, and he's gonna... First of all, he's gonna have to make a jump check. Then he's also gonna provoke a break attack.
Right, so, okay, jump check first.
Hey!
Is a fail.
Hey! Fell in the pit. Get him out of there.
Okay, number 5 is dead. Number 6. Is there an opponent within range 4? Yes, there is. So he's attacking, but now has no
hive
sickles.
mind.
So that is still a pretty beefy hit.
Probably won't get through your armor though, right?
Probably not. So let's see, that's going to be 13, 14, 15, 16 damage. Or, sorry, 16 total versus 10 defense, so 6 damage, which none of it gets through the armor.
Nice.
So then, it is also jumping the pit.
Jumping the pit. See that skull? No skull.
No skull.
Still provokes a break attack from you, though.
Right.
But your break attacks aren't great because you don't have any symbols. But you're still rolling heal and orange, right?
Yeah,
so
decent dice. No. That's an 8. That misses.
So now what is this?
So then the cave
here?
sickle is going to make a melee attack. Which misses, so he gets no follow-up to try and poison me.
Can you counter?
Is going to counter.
Oh yeah, on your shields you've got a free one. Nice. Oh, you've got an SP. Interesting.
Yeah, I've got a passive 1 stamina point count. 10 is a hit of 0. So that's not going to do any damage.
No damage, but it interrupts any further follow-ups that may have occurred.
Okay. So that's it for cave sickles 4 through 6.
1 through 3, huh? Alright, number 1. Can it move and attack an opponent within range 4? Yeah, it can. 1, 2, 3. Can move to here. It's got 1, 2. It's got 4 allies within SOI.
Oh, ouch.
It's rolling the bad dice.
It's rolling the bad dice.
You still can't dodge. We gotta pull a red die out. It's rolling red. Fragors, get the fuck out of here. Cardinal Earthflow, get the fuck out of here. Alright, it's rolling... It's rolling red and teal and black. It could roll the skull. Oh, it missed.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, so that one missed. The next one, number purple. Can it move and attack an opponent within range 4? Probably so. 1, 2. Oh, it might pop the bulb. 3. It only has to move to there, so it hasn't popped the bulb yet. It moves up to there, and it's going to attack with the same benefit. Red, black, and teal. Alright, it barely hit. I don't think that gets through your armor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that doesn't get through your armor.
Okay.
And then the orange guy, can it move and attack an opponent within range 4? 2, 3. Can move up to here. And also attack with the same dice. Uh-oh, that's a little better. So it's a hit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage.
Okay, so Rook takes 1 damage.
Yeah, not a big deal. Against Rook, everything is weak. Okay.
Okay.
That's the sickles. Nightingale.
Nightingale. Well, the first thing Nightingale's going to do is give haste to Zeke.
Very nice. Haste for Zeke. Thank you. Did she get her extra stamina point for her haste?
Yep, it filled her up.
Since it's like attacking a castle. Yeah. Right. Of course not. It's like attacking a castle.
She's going to heal 1 from the bodysuit.
Cheating ass bodysuit.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, let's move 1.
It's not a happy room down there.
No, it isn't. But here's what we're gonna gamble. We're gonna take a gamble. Her first square is gonna be here.
Oh, she's doing some crazy shit.
And then she's gonna finish her movement by going there.
Weaponizing the bulb. End the current turn and inflict paralyze. So that actually happens before you even move out of the square. So the bad news is you're paralyzed. The good news is 2 of the sickles are also paralyzed.
Took 1 for the team.
For the team. So which ones are paralyzed? Purple, 2 and 3 are paralyzed. 2 and 3. Just gonna copy that token. Paste, paste. Alright. For the team. Like a duet of Nox bluffs, it's a paralyze, says Nox.
Nice.
A paralyze. Wow. Good one. Well, I guess that ends her turn. Well, hold on.
Yep.
It said end current turn and inflict paralyze. So Oh, discard at the end of your next turn. So not only does she lose the rest of this turn, she's going to lose her whole next turn as well.
Yep.
That sucks. But Zeke can go now. He's hasted, so he gets 4 stamina. He, is going to jump down. 1, 2, 3. 3 squares of movement gets him to here. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's his full movement. Then he's gonna shoot. How much health does an Elder Cave Sickle have? 12. Wow, same as a Fragor. Okay. He's gonna shoot number 6. Do they have armor? No, they don't. Okay, he's gonna shoot
No
number
armor.
6, and he's going to empower it.
Let's go Zeke.
So he's rolling orange, teal, black. Okay, that 3's not great, so he's going to use the quiver to reroll it. Okay, that's pretty good. They've got a defensive 10. He hit for 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He gets 3 for the arrows. 10 damage. He can't make that any better, I don't think.
10 damage to number 6.
10 damage to number 6.
Nice, nearly dead.
Poison's not going to matter because they're immune to poison. Is there anything else he can do to finish that guy off? Nope, there's not, unfortunately. I was hoping he might be able to, like... Oh, he could try to pull... Hold on. Pull for... He can pull with his crossbow now. As a...
Oh.
Pull 4, force 10, but would that do any good?
That would provoke a break attack, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Let me look that up real quick. I can't remember if forced movement provokes break attacks or not. Push, pull, and command, page 44.
Oh, does not provoke a break attack from the figure that used the ability.
Oh, but it does from anyone else. Yeah, so it would provoke from Rook. That's fucking great. So he's going to try to pull this guy. Now, he still has to roll... The guy's still gets to roll his conviction. It's force 10.
Okay, let's see. I don't believe there's any conviction modifiers for Hive Mind.
Nope.
No, failed. Rolled a 7.
Oh, so now Rook can finish him off with the break attack, hopefully. Intervention?
Intervention. Okay, good use of intervention. Yeah, hit a 0.
Did not finish him off with the break attack.
But does prevent him from being adjacent to me at the start.
So I can pull him. I'm pulling him 4. Every square has to... Yeah. 1, 2, 3, I'm actually pulling him adjacent to me, which isn't the best. But that's okay. I was hoping... I don't know what I was hoping. I was hoping you'd kill him with the break attack or something. But anyway, I pulled him over here. So that's a thing that happened. And I don't think I can give you another intervention because you're too far away. And he can't move anymore. He can't re-equip, so that's the end of Zeke's turn. Means it's the end of the round.
Okay, initiative shuffler.
Nightingale goes first, then all the cave sickles.
Paralyzed. Nightingale is no longer paralyzed, and her turn is over.
And she's now immune to paralyze. So 4 through 6 go. They're
Okay,
not
6.
paralyzed.
All right, well, it's actually going to be 4 first. So, okay. Is there an opponent within range 4? Yes. Targeting Nightingale. Make a range 4 attack. 4 has got all of them within his sphere of influence. No, 6 is outside.
Carefully pulled that guy out of the hive mind.
So 3 others. All right, an 11 against Nightingale is a hit of 0, but it's got some symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, it looks like. Well, Nightingale is just going to have to take some 4 damage.
She has that barrier at least. Block
Yeah,
one of
so
them.
it'll be 3. And that's good for number 4. Oh, wait. So then, move to be adjacent to the opponent with the most damage within movement range. I think that's Zeke.
Zeke does have the most damage.
Then make a melee attack. So now just one other cave sickle within its SOI.
Yeah, Zeke can't dodge.
Oh, 14.
Oh. Zeke got an 11 defense.
All right, so that's a hit of 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's got barrier, so he takes 5. He's still up. He's got 2 hit points left. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Bauble of Opulence. How much damage did he just deal?
I have no idea. So it was 14.
It was 6.
Yeah.
Flip. After an opponent has dealt you damage, they're dealt magic damage equal to the damage they dealt you. So 6 magic damage to that guy.
6 magic damage to number 4. It's actually a good spot to use it. That was a beefy hit for these guys. Okay, so that's Cave Sickle number 4. Cave Sickle number 5 is dead. Cave Sickle number 6.
Uh-oh.
Is there an opponent adjacent? Yes. Make a melee attack against the opponent with the most damage.
Zeke's going down.
All right. Oh, 11.
It's a hit of 0. Just 1
It is
point
zero,
with the
just 1
symbol?
point of damage. Yeah,
All
just
right, the
1.
barrier will actually block that, so he's okay.
Counter at all, or?
No, he can't counter. No,
All right.
only
Well,
if he
follow up.
dodges.
Follow up, which you will get because the attack hit, right?
Yes, he will get the follow-up, unfortunately.
All right, making another melee attack against the same target. Is 10.
Miss.
is a miss. So no more follow-ups for him. That's it for number 6.
Oh, I can't believe Zeke survived that turn.
Cave Sickles 1 to 3.
All right, number 1 is going to make a ranged attack. So opponent within range 4. Is it just 1, 2, 3, 4? It's just going to go against Nightingale.
Yeah.
So, and it's got how many within SOI? Just 2. So it's rolling teal and orange. It gets an 11.
11 is a hit of 0.
Two shields, so it's going to do 2 damage. Minus your barrier.
So yeah, 1 damage.
Then, move to be adjacent to the opponent with the most damage within movement range.
Probably going to be Nightingale.
How much damage is... She has 8 and Rook has 1. Oh, yeah. It's going to be Nightingale. So it moves up here, and it attacks her again with the same dice. This time it got a 12.
12 is a hit of 1.
So total 3 damage.
Okay.
Minus your barrier. And then as a follow-up, you don't have any way to... No, you can't really counter that. So, as a follow-up, it's going to try to poison you. Force 10.
Okay. Well, I'm going to re-roll some of this.
Clearly.
Yeah, so I think we're going to have to once per encounter on the Wand of Hindsight here.
Wand of Hindsight.
Reroll just the 2.
Just the 2.
God damn it. Okay, so discarding the
You could
bottle
use intervention
blessing.
now. If you use intervention, you only have to re-roll the 2 because that's the only dice you just rolled.
Intervention.
Just enough! Just enough! You got it! It was only a 10. Fuck.
Okay, so not poisoned.
Yeah. Okay. Numbers 2 and 3 don't get a turn because they have been paralyzed. So they're just gonna lose their paralysis, and that's the end of their turn. Alright, Zeke, somehow magically still alive, but he's in dire fucking straits over here. Dire. Oh, he gets 4 for being hasted. What's the health looking like on 4 and 6 here?
They're both hit. 4 is 6 points down, 6 is 10 points down.
In a perfect world, I could kill both of them. In a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
So I guess we're gonna try.
We may live in a perfect world.
I'm gonna shoot the one that only has... I'm gonna shoot the one that has 6 health left.
Okay.
To start. I'm rolling teal and orange. A 6 and 4 is not amazing. If I use the quiver to reroll the 4, now I've got 12. What's their defense?
That's a hit of 2.
Hit of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a hit of 7.
That's enough to kill him.
Yes. Okay. Still haven't used my intervention token, and I got a second shot on the guy with 2 health left. Okay, gonna have to use that intervention token. No! No! You don't have any granted rerolls in range or anything, do you?
Let's see. I think I might. No, I don't.
Yeah, he doesn't have any... He doesn't have any options here either. Which means it's a miss. Means he's in trouble. Big trouble. Big trubs. Because he doesn't have any stamina points left. He can't do anything else. And he's only got 2 health. Big trubs. Okay, well that's it for Zeke. He tried. Rook's turn.
Okay. Rook regains 4 stamina. And we're courage stifling number 6.
Number 6.
Ooh, with force 14.
Got an 11 over here.
12 damage.
Oh, that was actually your guy. You should have rolled, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, so 6 is down. He's going to spend 2 more points trying to do the same thing to number 1.
Numero uno.
Force 11.
Conviction 5.
Okay, 12 damage.
12 damage. Beautiful. Or 1
So
comes off the board. Oh, by the way, we got a loot card just now for that other group being killed, so...
Oh, yeah.
Another 8 gold. We're up to 96 gold.
That's a decent amount of gold.
Yeah.
Okay,
Although,
Rook
we may have used more than that amount of gold in consumables on this mission.
That's true. Shuffling the track. Casicles 4 through 6 are dead, so they can't go.
Nightingale gets to go.
Nightingale, okay.
No longer paralyzed. Back in action.
Everybody's hasted, yes?
Everybody's hasted.
Okay. Heals 1 from the bodysuit. And then we are going to euthanize. Starting with number 2.
Euthanizing.
Force 11.
Rolled an 11.
Okay, we're going to try and euthanize number 2.
Are you going to get your free energy token or not?
Yeah, thanks.
Well, I mean, if you use that, then you've exhausted the thing, so then you couldn't use its other exhaust properties. So
Actually,
I don't know if
that's
you want
true.
To or
I'm
not.
gonna wait on that. Okay, so this was a force 12. What did you see this number? I know I flipped the dice after I rolled it.
No. I didn't see. Just making up numbers, or what are we doing?
I'm just gonna free roll it.
Okay. Hey.
Okay.
I didn't
Force
see it that
14.
time. I just
Didn't see it. Gonna
Every
go ahead
time-
and re-roll it.
every time I roll less than the max on the die, I didn't see it.
Not see it.
Hard to see this darn squirrely tabletop. I was zoomed out too far. Sorry.
I blame Tabletop Simulator.
Okay, anyway, you...
So, Force 14, euthanasia.
got an 11.
All right, so he takes 6 magic damage and is wilted.
This is number 2?
Number 2, yeah. I don't know where all my... Here's a wilt.
And he's wilted. Hey, Askell, how you doing? Welcome. Nox says in before disadvantage due to using ranged weapon against it. Yeah, there is nothing like that in Middara. You can use ranged weapons in melee, and there's no problems with it for whatever reason.
All right, we're going to exhaust the infection here, take a point of damage, and euthanize number 2 a third time.
Infinite euthanasias.
Force 11.
Got a 9.
Okay, well then he has got 6 more damage.
He's dead. There's your wilt. He's dead. Only 1 sickle left. Then we got to get across this pit. Only 1 sickle left.
So that's it for Nightingale.
Alright, Zeke. Zeke is going to... He's got really good perception. He can help people on the other side if they fail to get across. Figure... What's the initiative looking like? Yeah, Rook could easily finish off that number 3, probably.
Yeah, he'll have at least 2 shots, or he can have 2 shots at it if he needs it.
So Zeke will probably... He's going to try to jump across here. He's got an agility of 4. You know what, though? Just to be safe, first he'll give himself intervention. Then he'll try to jump across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 squares of movement to get to there. Ordinarily, you can't jump from a water space, but it's in the special rules for this encounter that we can jump because this is shallow water. Apparently not shallow enough to not slow us down, though.
Or allow us to dodge.
He exactly made it.
Thank goodness.
So he's used up 5 spaces of movement. 6, 7. He'll move to here. Actually, he's gonna keep moving. Oh, wait, no, he gave himself intervention. He can't give another intervention this round. So at that point, he might as well just spend a point to collect the stuff. So we're getting 3 random consumables. Have we put all the consumables that we've used back in the pot up here?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Rolling randomly, rolling randomly, not even looking. What do we get? A juice box, a bomb, and another bomb. Okay,
Ooh,
good.
Nice. Take 2 bombs.
Somebody set up us the bombs.
Oh, and you can immediately equip all 3 of those.
Immediately equip all 3 because he didn't have any left. So that's good. And that's all he can do because he can't move again after he's moved. So, he's done. Rook's turn. To finish off that last one, please.
Yeah, going after number 3 with a courage stifle.
Where's the blue exit?
We haven't found it yet.
Oh, there is no blue exit in this encounter. As soon as... Oh, it's a good thing that I collected that. Because the second you kill that cave sickle, the scenario ends.
Oh.
Because it's when all loot tokens are retrieved or destroyed and all combatants have been defeated. So as soon as that one dies, the scenario ends.
So should we get to the green objective first?
It's a good question. Yeah, I suppose we should check out the green objective first.
All right, well, Rook is not exactly a jumping over pits kind of dude.
Maybe just walk over there and tank it or something?
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Get 4 stamina back, spend 1 to do a move action. See if I can hopefully get him to tank Rook there where Rook can actually dodge.
Good idea. Good idea. I loved your little move where you deliberately triggered the bulb.
Yeah, I thought, we'll see what happens.
Dude, we kind of cut it close on this one. Nightingale almost died. Zeke really almost died 3 times. And Remy did die. Of course, Rook was never in any peril, but...
Yeah, Rook's pretty beefy. Cave Sickle number 3, your turn.
Alright, Cave Sickle number 3 has got an opponent within range 4, which is actually both of them. So he's actually going to shoot at Nightingale first.
Yeah.
Oops. She can't dodge, right? But now he doesn't have any... He has no hive mind, so he's only rolling a 10, which is a miss.
That's a miss.
Now he's going to move to be the opponent within with the most damage within movement range. Oh, that's also not Rook. Maybe standing on the island wasn't the plan.
Nope.
Because now he's going to move here and attack Nightingale again. Also a miss.
Also a miss.
Follow-up is cancelled. And the yellow objective on the main map? Well, the yellow objective on the main map doesn't get read unless we're instructed to. So I'm assuming reading the green objective will read the yellow objective. Because nothing else could possibly trigger it. But another thing that could have possibly triggered it is because some of the loot tokens were random. And there were different colors of loot that it could have been. And we didn't actually read all the loot colors because not all of the loot tokens were... I don't think. So it's possible that one of the loot colors that we didn't get could have triggered that also. Anyway, that's the Cave Sickle's turn.
Alright, Zeke.
Good. Zeke can go see what's up with the green. Gets full stamina boat. Alright, he's gonna go 1, 2, 3. What does it say about the green objective? Move on to it. 4, 5. So he's 4, 5. When he stands on the green objective, oops, whoop. You make your way up to a small passage, hoping it reaches the surface. Luckily, it does. You shove aside some rocks and find yourself in a familiar place. Place your figure on the yellow objective token. Nice. Hold on. This token represents the exit to the caves and is considered adjacent to the green objective for the purpose of movement for the duration of this encounter. Yellow objective says, this text is never read and is only used to mark the cave exit. So nosy.
Yeah, I do like how they yell at you.
That's a red herring. So this is just the exit from the cave. So you can just go ahead and finish off number 3 there and we'll be done.
Okay, but unfortunately, number 3 is going first.
He can keep moving, actually. He's moved 5, 6, 7, 8. Can he get close enough to... Hold on. Yeah, he can. So he can get close enough to give a intervention to Rook. So Rook can have his intervention back. Just in case you need it.
Appreciate it.
Alright. Oh, Cave Sickle goes first, huh? Well, now the Cave Sickle has opponents adjacent. Who does it want to go after? Zeke, but it can't, so it's going to go after Rook, which is good for us. So Rook can actually dodge, right?
Rook can actually dodge, and he will with too many belts.
Good roll. How'd you come out?
I need to get to the actual dodge roll going here.
Can't see it.
Thanks,
Too far.
dodge.
Couldn't see it. Gotta re-roll it.
Can't see that dice.
Could not see it.
Didn't see it. Didn't see it. Okay, so that is just a defense of 10.
So hit you for 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't get through your armor.
Okay.
However, because... Are you going to counter?
I am going to counter.
Alright, cool.
Seven is a miss.
But it doesn't matter if you hit with the counter or not. Merely the fact that you did counter cancels any follow-ups.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so no follow-ups. So that's the end of its turn.
Rook's turn, then. Okay. Well, yeah, we're going to courage stifle the crap out of them.
The crap right out of them.
Force 14.
Horse dead.
Dead.
So dead. Another loot card. What did we get? 9 more gold. So we pulled 105 gold. How many consumables did we pull off the map? We pulled... Did we ever get that yellow loot with the 2 random consumables? I think we did. So yeah. I think we pulled 5 consumables off the map, plus 105 gold, minus all the consumables we used. I think we might have come out a little bit ahead.
A little bit. We're going to get 2 more consumables here.
Yes, well, we are. Now, yes, indeed now. So choose your consumable for Nightingale. I like to take the most expensive ones as the free ones, and then if we need to buy things like bombs and stuff, we can just buy them with money.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll get back to ubiquitous plank.
Planks are always a good choice. Also, they're cost like 10 gold, so they're nice beefy. Let's see.
Yeah, these consumables are not as expensive as I was thinking. I think we probably came out pretty far ahead.
That's good. I love the Augur's pager.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Can change the initiative order, which can really... I had that come in so clutch on a few encounters where it completely changed what was going to happen. Phase token is also really nice. Obviously, the demon vouchers are really good. Obviously, still the same old classics that we've always loved. Bottled Blessings and Planks. And I think I'm going to take an Augur's Pager.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that we should, like, try to always have at least one of those.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he can't actually carry it, so technically it goes to the stash right now. Okay, so we completed the encounter. Let's see what happens. Each party member gains 1 XP, restore adventurers. So we can clean it up. We can get rid of any negative tokens we might have on us. I guess we don't have any negative tokens on us anymore.
I assume intervention goes away as well.
Yeah, every token on your sheet goes away. All the buffs, the intervention. When you restore. If we didn't restore, you would keep the interventions between encounters. Just like the heal tokens. Because you keep all the round tokens, you get rid of the square tokens. But when we restore adventurers, you get rid of all tokens. So we get rid of this haste. Get rid of this barrier. We get rid of this intervention.
Have you recorded the XP yet?
Oh, no, I didn't, actually. So everybody should have 3 now.
Does Remy get XP even though she was defeated?
Yeah, she does.
All right.
Used. All the damage goes away. We took a lot of damage in that encounter.
Yeah, we did.
It was a pretty serious one. I gotta decide what I'm gonna do with his stuff here, because now he's got this extra. I don't know that Zeke needs to wear this bauble of opulence. Somebody else maybe could, or I don't know.
Rook's got a free relic slot.
It does have a white conviction upgrade, though. So if
Oh.
you've already got all your conviction
I do, yeah.
upgrades, and so does Nightingale, so
Also, Rook's not exactly taking big damage numbers.
true. I could give... Let's make an attack. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with these relics over here. I want him to keep both sets of arrows. The sickle venom... The sickle venom only works off of an attack, so that wouldn't work with euthanasia or courage stifle. I don't know, I'll think about that in a second. Are we... Let's see, I think we can clear... Or what are we proceeding to? We're proceeding to someone's there, page 85. I think we can clear assets. Did it automatically put the frag... It did, okay, good. I thought I remembered there being a weird problem with the frag orb. Hey, we lost somebody's card here.
Remy.
Is she in there?
No.
I don't know how to... Let's see. Just out of curiosity.
You know, I wonder if when we reset, it's gonna...
That is also what I wonder. I was gonna say if we were to set up the encounter again, would it spawn initiative cards?
Not for us.
It's weird. There's a way to respawn a specific component. I don't remember how to do it now, or even how I found out how to do it. Hey, wait, where's everybody else's cards?
They're in this stack here.
Oh, that stack has 3 in it. Okay. Party stash? Nope. We can pull this stuff out of there, though.
I can't select the objects menu, so I'm not sure if it might be something there.
The objects menu.
Yeah, that's one of the Tabletop Simulators menus.
Right, I'm looking in there now. There's a... There's a way to... I think I might have had to look it up. Because occasionally I would lose a component when I was playing this before.
There is a trash bag up here, but it doesn't have her card in it.
Huh, yeah. There's a way to get to respawn a component. Any kind of component. I think I looked it up. I think I looked on the Steam Workshop page. And it told me how to do it.
I found some instructions, but
I remember doing it. You have to switch your color to black, and then you've got to type something into something. I don't remember where I got the information. Exactly. Probably that note that I deleted everything out of. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save the game. Save the game. Save the game.
something in your Twitch chat.
Okay, let me see. Games menu from your workshop and save and load categories. Oh, this could be what we want. Remy initiative card. Oh! It worked. Good call.
Nice.
Alright, so the initiative cards are all back to business. Okay, so we can clear this stuff away. For some reason, these initiative cards remain a jiggity. All right, so we go to someone's there, page 85.
That's where we go.
All right, hold on. Here's my volume mixer.
Oh, I just lost Tabletop Simulator. Hold on.
Okay, all right. Waiting for you. To unlose Tabletop Simulator. $105.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. We restore the loot deck. 105. 121 gold is what we have. Okay, so you're back. Let's listen to Someone's There.
hurried across.
No.
Let's just
No.
bungled caper. The scene of the attack is complete chaos. A once extravagant caravan is.
Wait. Is it reading us this text? Oh, it is. I didn't realize we had audio things we didn't used to.
No, yeah, we didn't in chapter 1.
Okay, hold on. The next is this.
This is
loading.
Someone's there. Remy used the nearby brushes to scrape off the remainder of the gore before sheathing her weapon. All around them, the monsters were dead. They'd done great, and Remy felt a surge of pride that she wasn't going to let her dad down. Got him! Nightingale said as she turned towards Remy and reached up for a high five, but Remy didn't move. Remy? Nightingale waved a hand at her without effect. Yo, Rimdog! Are you just gonna leave me hanging? Remy was too busy staring at a nearby hill to notice her friend. She squinted up the hill and into the trees. She saw a flash of color, something bright red against the evergreens. There wasn't an abundance of flowers, certainly not enough to make a patch of such uniform shape and color. A few seconds of staring and the patch moved again, giving definition to a clearly human figure. Was this the culprit? Or maybe a survivor? Remy wasn't sure, but then the man ran away and Remy made a move, assuming he had to be the former. She didn't wait for any confirmation. She didn't even feel the need to signal her friends. Remy took off running, loping up the hill, using her wings to propel herself forward at a blinding speed. Behind her, Nightingale still stood, one hand stupidly in the air as she stared. Ahead of Remy, the figure started running. The man was big, even taller than Rook and probably wider too. The man turned sharply left, making his way deeper into the forest, but Remy didn't slow down. The tall trees the man ran into forced Remy to tuck her wings in and take chase on foot. She dodged easily between the trees, not slowing as she ran. She overtook a smaller stream with a running leap, not caring as mud splattered everywhere in the landing. Her heart hammered in her chest as he closed the distance on the retreating back. Where Rook's advancement had not robbed him of his speed, this man was more hulking than graceful. He snapped branches and crushed saplings, leaving a very obvious trail. There was no way he was going to get away. Hey! The man ignored Remy's shout, but he couldn't ignore the sliding tackle that took him right in the ankle. All that weight turned into a tumble, tearing through dirt and short bushes with equal disdain. The man landed in a sprawled, moaning heap. Remy, on the other hand, had landed far more gracefully. She drew her weapon as she approached the man, walking slowly. She was fairly sure the shouts and pounding footsteps in the forest behind him were her friends catching up. It would be better to confront this man with some backup. Why the hell were you... Remy didn't finish, freezing in place as she heard a quiet click from beneath the man she'd sent to the ground. The massive man had rolled onto his back, his face and scraggly beard covered with mud. A single long scar ran almost the entire length of his face, crossing over one of his eyes and down to his neck. The eye looked like it might be glass. The Remy's attention was mostly focused on the gun aiming at her face. Remy dropped her weapon, stepping back a few steps and raising both hands. Easy there. The gun was an intricately carved flintlock pistol, deadly looking and beautifully crafted. That's right. The man rolled onto his feet, the gun never losing track of Remy. He grinned with wickedly pointed teeth, almost like a shark's. You stay right there and don't move. If you follow me, I'll shoot you. Got it? Got it. Remy held very still, staring into the barrel. Good girl. The man backed up for another few paces before turning and bolting suddenly away. True to his word, Remy didn't follow. A few seconds later, Nightingale came bursting through the trees behind her. What the hell is your deal? She asked, gasping with one hand on her chest. Remy picked up his fallen weapon, brushing off the mud. Sorry, Night. I saw somebody spying on us. I tried to catch him, but he had a gun. Nightingale put a hand on her hip. Really? You mean running off by yourself into the woods might have been dangerous? She rolled her eyes. Did you at least catch what he looked like? Yeah, Remy said, picking up her weapon and putting it away. For the second time in 2 days, Remy found herself in her father's study. The group was covered in a multitude of minor injuries that made it clear that they had just gone through a fight. Malik peered at the group from behind his desk, looking a bit amused at their condition, I assume you decided to not get the guards. Remy sighed and forced herself to meet his eyes. This would go easier if she just told him the truth. I read the letter. Instead of having the guards investigate, we decided to do it ourselves. Really? Malik didn't sound angry with her. Rather, he sounded concerned. That wasn't safe, sweetie. Anything big enough to stop that caravan could have killed you too. We know. She reached back, rubbing one sore wing. You were right. It was attacked. It was clearly not an accident. It might have even been too much for your guards, too. We got some information for you, though. Malik looked up with excitement. There was a suspicious-looking man at the scene. He had this wicked scar all over the right side of his face, Remy explained, drawing it on her face with a finger. Did he hurt you? Malik asked seriously, standing and putting a hand on his desk. He pointed a gun at me. I'm sorry I couldn't capture him for you. He did what? Malik said, standing and putting a hand on his desk. He pointed a gun at me, Remy stammered. Was he mad at her? Remy felt the sense of pride she had of helping her father wash away, replaced with worry that her dad was going to yell at her. He pointed a gun at my daughter? Malik asked no one in particular. His eye twitched, something that everyone caught. And a dark silence overtook the room as Malik's eyes glazed over in thought. Remy nodded slowly, glancing briefly towards her friends. He didn't shoot me, though. I mean, it could have been worse. You've done more than I could have expected, Malik said, cutting her off abruptly. His voice was audibly restrained, and Remy still felt like she had done something wrong. Then Malik met Remy's eyes, his face lacking any emotion that she could read. Your institute education appears to be paying off. I'm impressed. Are you mad? Remy asked, her voice high and timid. With you? Malik smiled. Not at all. You've proved yourself more capable than I could have imagined. Remy made a little sigh of relief. Do you know the guy? Unfortunately. Malik drew out one of his black ledgers and scribbled something there. A former associate of mine. He cleared his throat. Thank you for all your help. I will be able to take steps on my own from this point. Then Malik got up and leaned in close to Remy, resting a hand briefly on her shoulder. Maybe stick to just delivering my messages next time, okay? Yeah. Remy rose and her friends all did the same. I will.
Mark the story flag culprit identified on the adventure sheet. Nice. We identified
the culprit.
Ain't no unidentified culprits around here. Return to Ramstead Exploration, page 81. So, where are we at here? We've restored, we've got not enough XP to buy any disciplines, but we do have 121 gold. And we've got these items.
I think I might carry that Ivory Axe of the Isles on Rook if nobody else wants it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it can be thrown once per encounter, if nothing else.
Yeah, and it can re-equip it if it seems like I'm going to need to be doing a lot of physical attacks versus the Courage Stifle.
Yeah, so it's probably worth keeping.
I can carry the pager as well, so that we have it on Rook. Doesn't.
Yeah, okay.
That way everybody can have 3 consumables.
Yeah, take the pager on Rook.
I'm gonna take the plank for Rook too.
Good, good. She'll take this. I'm still sitting on. Not sure what to do with my relics over here. What are these up here?
I'm just pulling out items we might want to consider purchasing.
Oh, right. Good idea. Good idea. I'm going to put this Bauble of Opulence on Remy, I think, because she needs the conviction upgrade.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, then if she'll have 2 white dice at least, which isn't great, but... do some switchy swapping.
I assume I unflip cards when we restore as well, yes?
Yes, you do unflip when we restore. And that's the only time you unflip. Flip. So, got an extra juice box here.
I could take the juice box if you need a space for it.
All right. So what, yeah, we should buy some of these things.
Certainly that balm.
Now,
It's
another
only
thing we
gold.
might want to consider, even though we're deep in relics, is like Nightingale at least might want to buy the Hemlock and Seer relic that gives you +2 SOI. It's only 42 gold.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you'd have to get rid of one of your...
I can get rid of Chip's chitin. It's also another material for us to potentially be able to unlock an upgrade if there's one that you have in mind.
Okay. Materials can be sold for 25 gold. They can be used to unlock one... There's 3 things you can do with it, right? You can also trade it for one upgrade for free, but then you don't actually unlock that upgrade. You just get one instance of it on one item, which I don't ever think is a good idea, really. Or it can
you
be...
can use it to apply, and is that what you said? You use it to apply an upgrade to an item?
Yeah, but without unlocking that upgrade for future purchase.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
Which I don't really like doing it that way. So, I don't know that we're really in the market for any additional upgrades at the moment, but being able to trade that in for another upgrade when we have, you know, when we're in a better place for buying upgrades probably be. So maybe...
I'll just have it hang out on Rook then, because he's got an open relic spot.
Oh, perfect. That makes him even more tanky.
Yeah.
God, Rook is fucking invincible.
If we encounter something that casts at him, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. His conviction's not great.
True, but he can soak up a lot of damage. He has 20 health.
Yeah.
20 health? It's a grip. So you bought that Hemlock and Seer? I was considering getting that for Zeke as well, but I don't think I need to yet.
Okay. Yeah,
So
it'd be good for the 2 people that have Mend to have that.
We bought that. How much do these cost? 6, 12, 18, 18, 22, 32, 74, 84, 94. If we bought everything we have sitting here, it'll cost us 94, and we'll have 27 gold left. So let's just
I don't know
that.
that we need to. Yeah, I mean, we can if you want. Those seemed like the most useful ones to me.
I agree. We'll just keep all the consumables in one stack for now. Okay, so we'll buy all those. So now we have to distribute those to the people that need them.
All right, well, Nightingale has a bottle blessing, so we could take the other 3 and dish them out 1 to each.
Okay. Zeke's got a balm.
Yeah, I'll take a balm. I'll take the balm for Rook. Actually, Nightingale will probably be best.
We didn't sell any items this time around, did we?
No. And then I want to do at least 1 demon voucher with Nightingale, if not both of them, because of her increased SOI.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Since she's got the increased SOI, those would probably both be nice on her. Or maybe 1 on Zeke. I don't know how many consumables she's sitting on.
She's got 5 now, so she's got 1 free inventory spot, which I'd like to keep free if we can, as does Rook.
Well, we don't need to keep something free. I mean, when you get an item, you can always send something that you've currently got to the stash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then that's fine. I'll just throw the extra plank on Rook and the voucher on Nightingale.
Alright, sounds good. So he's got some extra arrows in his pack. A balm. A blessing. I'll just go ahead and have both balms.
We could have 3
Oh,
items in
awesome.
our inventory.
3 in your pack and 3 in your hand, yeah. Or 4 in your hand if you're Rook. Three consumables in your hand and 3 items of any kind in your pack. So you can have extra, you know, pieces of armor or weapons or whatever in your pack, but in your consumable slot, you can only have 3 consumables or 4 consumables for Rook.
Okay. This MF Fortitude does not have a home right now, then.
Yeah, I think I've got an MF Fortitude without a home as well. She's got 6 items. He's got 6 items. And Rook's full too?
Yeah.
Alright, so I think these are going to go to the stash for now then.
Sounds good.
And, we're out of money, basically. I mean, we're not technically out. We have 27 gold, so we could buy even more consumables, but we can't really buy anything else. You've got the
bountying it up.
Yeah, bounty's gonna be tough. What did you just hit? Oh, that was just the clear.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Yeah, so you want to attempt the 1 skull bounty?
Yeah, what is that? The Cave Sickle Queen?
Yeah, it's gonna bring out all kinds of weird new cave sickles. So the Cave Sickle Queen bounty pack. I guess we just start pulling stuff out of here. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, Tablet wants to open... What? Tablet wants to open a YouTube video. How to get started with the Cave Sickle Queen bounty pack. Okay, I guess...
Greetings, Midarians. Ken Suaga here with Coated Cardboard, bringing you a quick video on how to get started in the Cave Sickle Queen bounty pack. So this is a work in progress from Succubus Publishing, and they're looking for your feedback. So look in the description of the video. There's a link for a Google form to fill out Also, join us in a Discord channel. Here's a link down here at the bottom of the mod, or there's a link in the description of this video as well, where we talk about all things Middara. Succubus Publishing is also in the Discord, so if you wanted to chat with them, had feedback or questions there, it's a great place to come. So as always, it's good to read through the changelog if there's been a recent update, so you can kind of know what's different about stuff. But to get started here, I'll have a container over here that's going to have all the assets that you're going to need for the Cave Sickle bounty. And the way this is going to work is not scripted right now, so it's all manual. We're working on that. We will have some scripting for you soon, but if you're excited and you want to play it now, it's here for you. And you can take this, copy this is all you need, over to your current saves if you want to play where you're at and not have to bring everything into the newest version of the mod. There are a few updates. It may not necessarily be worth it for you to take all the time to bring it over, but there are a few things that are a little bit better. Again, check that changelog to figure that out. So to take this over to your current save, you'll just need to right click it, go to saved objects, hit save. So that's it. Now you just load up your current save and you'll go to objects, save objects, and you can find it there. If you had a lot of stuff like me, there is a search bar here where you can just type in queen and you'll be able to find it, click it, drag it out onto your table, and you'll have all the assets you need. So once you're ready to dig into this, you just right click and search, and you'll have a PDF book to pull out. There is a bag for all the container, or all the terrain components. Here is a monster loot deck. You can just take that and you can add that straight to your current monster loot. And then you'll have these burrows. You'll discover what these are later. Just set them off to the side for now. And then you'll have a hidden card pack. So again, there's no scripting on this stuff yet. I did make it in a way so that you could still not be spoiled. So when you're told to draw an asset from the hidden container, you can just right click, search, and then everything is inside another container. So when it tells you to type in or pull out BE1, you can just pull it out, or there is just you can type in the number there and search for it and pull it out. And this will contain all of the assets needed for BE1. So again, you will have all the new terrains like overlays and even some of the water and current stuff in here, but you're still going to need the regular maps you're going to have to pull from the current stuff. So this is searchable again if you didn't know, and let's say you need UM12, you just type in UM12 and there you go, you got the map that you need. So that will help kind of speed that up in that process. So that's pretty much it. Again, send your feedback to that Google form, join us in Discord. Thank you guys for watching this video and have a great day.
I had no idea you could put a fucking tablet with video YouTube stuff on it in Tabletop Sim. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well, so here we have a bunch of stuff for this. I'm just gonna kind of put this stuff up here for now. And we've got the Cave Sickle Queen book. So, introduction. Thanks for purchasing our first bounty pack. What is a bounty pack? It explores the milieu of Middara by taking a glimpse into the ecology of horrific and dangerous monsters that inhabit a specific area of our world. Some of the hardest encounters for the loot. Yeah, I've played the one bounty that comes with it, and it was really hard. They're designed to be very difficult. Many of the monsters within a bounty pack are going to be much more difficult compared to the gear you have available when you can first embark on a bounty. For these reasons, we don't expect most playgroups to win a bounty on their first attempt. Do you get +1 XP for watching that video? It's too bad we don't, Nux. Could put on a Find the Invisible Cow playthrough on the YouTube tablet while playing tabletop. Yes, one could do that. You'll retain any rewards other than story items earned on each attempt, whether they succeed or not. You might be able to attempt a failed bounty a second or even third time. So don't feel too bad if you get racked on your first go at it, it says. How do I use a bounty pack? Add all non-hidden cards to their respective decks. Set aside the hidden deck included in this product until you're told to reveal these cards. Hidden cards from this product are marked as BE1 on their hidden card tabs. This book should be referenced in a difference to the bounty rules included in any base game Middara product. Okay. Need to own Unintentional Malum Act One. Alright, we got a bounty book, 27 question mark miniatures, not final count. 3 colored base clips, 18. So there's 5 hidden cards, 29 hidden cards, 42 hidden cards, 5 monster loot cards, and 24 more hidden cards. So it says to take the 5 monster loot cards and just put them right in with the other cave sickle. What do we have here? Gavadan relic, animate relic, Gavadan weapon. So I guess we'll just take these and shuffle them up. I don't know. Bounty's new rules. How combatants scale. Combatants have a loot level printed on the front and back of their combatant card. You'll always spawn combatants whose loot level corresponds with the loot level of the current encounter. Which is why we're spawning like the Elder Cave Sickles now. Some combatants have additional prerequisites that must be met before spawning them. Those will be listed beneath their loot level requirement. While all combatant cards have a loot level associated with them, not all have the alternate or variation tags. Yeah, I remember reading about this alternate and variant of stuff in the actual rulebook. It's a little bit confusing. Basically, there's going to be new types of cave sickles, essentially, that can replace normal cave sickles whenever we would spawn cave sickles from here on out. But I don't know. It's kind of complicated. The fuck? This is a lot. Not
I mean, I
currently
suppose
being
we could
used.
always not do the bounty.
The other bounty, you know, the level 2 bounty that comes with the game doesn't have all this. It doesn't have all these new rules and like alternate combatants and everything else. It's just some adventures you go on. Now we could ignore all those after we complete this bounty and not like Alternate and variation.
I didn't realize that this was going to require assimilating 4 new pages of densely packed rules into the system.
Yeah. Oh, it's not done. There's also new tokens in this product. I mean,
Redirect tag.
changes the intended target. That's a lot of rules for the redirect. Hidden cards, story items. Hold on a second. Let me just... Oh, now there's spawning examples. Spawning examples continued. So, yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, let's not do this now. We can, like, take the fucking homework of learning these rules and maybe do it next time or the next opportunity we have, but...
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we don't do this bounty yet, at least, or maybe ever. Especially also since this is, like, just the beta version of this bounty, which means it may not be good. Like, it may not be really done being designed properly.
Right, do we want to pull out the loots?
Yeah, so all we had in our real Cave Sickle loot deck was 1 Cave Sickle charm, right?
Well, the beta ones have a marking on the front of the card.
Oh, do they? What does the marking look like?
It says in the bottom right hand, or I should say, just above where it says Cave Sickle Relic, it'll have a little version 1.2 beta.
Okay, so all the ones left in that deck now are the beta ones. So those can go back in the container down here. The pit boss is also a beta encounter. The other bounty is this bounty book, the Blighted Terror, which is the one that comes with the game. It's already fully integrated, and it's only difficulty 2. And as you can see, it has no special rules.
Oh, nice.
So, technically, we can try that one now, if you want. It says we can do a 1 or 2 skull bounty, but I think we will lose. Like,
yeah, I would
we
like
will
want to
lose.
I would want to be fully decked out with the common loot tier before we thought about that, at least. If not into uncommon.
So I think that means we're pretty much going forward with the main quest, right?
Yeah, main story.
But are you good to continue, or do you want to stop now?
Yeah, I've probably got like another hour or so.
Okay, let me save the game again. Are those variations like the intelligent cards on the upper right? Yeah, Nox. It looks like they're planning to make things a lot more complex with Acts 2 and 3. Because they're basically designing all these rules for the next 2 acts of the game that are coming out. And they're testing this stuff out with the beta of these bounties in TTS, you know. So Acts 2 and 3 will probably be more complex with all these extra new rules and different alternate combatants that can spawn and stuff. So basically the way it'll work is, like, right now when it says to spawn a Cave Sickle, well, in the base box that I own, the actual first version of the board game, there were no alternate combatants. You just always spawn normal Cave Sickles every time it said Cave Sickle. Then in the 1.2 version, or whatever, the second printing version, they added these alternate ones, right? Like the ones we have, like those Grizzled Gavadans that we fought, or the Elder Cave Sickles. They added those. Right. So now you spawn those when the loot level gets higher, so that some of these enemies continue to be challenging, even as you get more and more powerful. But the way they're doing it now with like that beta thing, and they're going to be adding in a bunch of other random different types of like Cave Sickles or whatever other creatures. And then when you're told to spawn a cave sickle, you don't just take one specific one. You have to like randomly determine which kind comes out. So you don't know what you're going to get. So you could get different kinds. It adds more variation to the game, right?
Right.
But it also adds more complexity. And how many pages of rules had to describe that?
A lot.
So, anyway, Murdered Informant, page 87. Murdered Informant. How's my volume mix going? It's high. Alright, so here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Main quest. Murdered Informant. They stopped at a street vendor for dinner before making their way back to Malik's mansion. Remy recognized Malik's personal guard even from a distance. There were at least half a dozen men congregating outside the mansion. Every one of them wore black cloaks, or black armor, or black masks. "What do you think's going on?" Nightingale asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Do you think we should come back later, maybe?" Remy thought about it for a few seconds, then shook her head. "No. Everybody stay close. I'll get you in." Remy advanced purposefully towards the front door, squaring her shoulders and not looking away from the door. It didn't work. One of the men stepped in front of her, blocking the door with broad shoulders. "Sorry, you can't come in." "Like hell I can't." Remy ducked under one of his arms. "It's my house." As big as he was, the man seemed surprised by her determination. He actually dodged out of her way, and Remy was able to shove on the door. It was unlocked and swung in with the violence of her pressure. None of the house servants were in the entryway, though there were a few startled guards. They moved as though to lift their weapons. Remy glowered at them. "What are you going to do? Attack me? Doesn't my family pay you to protect us?" One of the guards whispered to the other and they both relaxed. Then they lowered their weapons, reluctantly getting out of her way. "A little fiery, aren't we?" Zeke mused in awe that Remy could be so commanding. "Well, it's my place. I should be able to come and go as I please," Remy said with a quick glance back at him. "Fair enough," Zeke replied. Remy still remembered the house, and so she had no trouble leading the way. She could hear voices from further in, probably the courtyard. One was her father's, though she couldn't place the identity of the other one, but it was a female voice. "It couldn't have been an accident," the woman said. "Whoever took it knew at least one of the combinations. The evidence for that was clear enough from what was left. We need to make the firmest possible action before the situation gets away from us. They might bring the thing to my estate next." The female voice was practically screeching. "What we can't do is tip our hand," Malik replied. "There are too many in the city who would seize on such a visible sign of weakness. Our reaction must be firm and swift, but not panicked." Around the first corner was a set of wide doors leading into the courtyard. As Remy rounded them, she suddenly had an uninterrupted view. Her father stood beside one of the fountains, and at his side a sleazy-looking girl was talking to him. She was dressed quite casually, and her clothing resembled something someone would wear on Earth. Ripped jeans and a half-open leather top. She was lithe and thin, with full-sleeve tattoos of twisting plants rising up both her arms. Her hair was bright green, and a pair of pointed vulpine ears emerged from the side of her head. "Dad, what's going on?" Remy called from the doorway, glancing inside. There were 2 more guards inside, though they wore white and blue colors and flanked the woman instead of her father. "Remy, you're safe." Malik looked over at her, and Remy made her way over. Her father embraced her with noticeable relief. "Thank God you're okay. Grace Jong said she hadn't seen you and I was worried." "We're fine." Remy looked up at the stranger, confused. "Grace Jong? I didn't even know she was actually expecting us. How would she have even known we were here?" "I know everything that happens in my city." The thin girl had turned towards Remy now. "Circumstances have occurred that made me and Malik worry for your safety, but I can see that you're perfectly fine." Remy blushed and then tried to straighten herself for a formal bow. "Duchess, I didn't know it was you. If I had known, I would—" Grace cut her off with a short tone. "Oh, please, save the bullshit formalities for the puffed-up royalty of Alenia. They have no place here. Grace looked past Remy, finally noticing her companions. Zeke, is that you? Zeke simply nodded. He hadn't recognized Grace and realized at that moment that even if she was supposedly present for his arrival to Middara, he didn't even remember seeing her before. Cousin! Grace squealed, her tone changing from deadly serious to jovial. Malik told me you were here. He said you were headed to my castle to stay the night. You really should have visited. Zeke returned an awkward hug. We found an inn we liked before we made it. We likely would have come by eventually. No doubt. And you... Grace had noticed Zeke's other female companion, and she extended a hand to Nightingale. You're Balthazar's youngest, if I'm not mistaken. Nightingale took the offered hand, though she didn't get a chance to say anything. Remy met her father's eyes again. What's with all the guards? There's been a murder in Romstead. Malik's expression darkened. There was a moment of shocked silence. Murder? Remy stammered. You can't be serious. Rook hadn't been introduced, but even so, he seemed to notice the informality of the meeting. Nobody would kill another human being when they could live forever? Grace finished for him. Oh, they would. Don't be naive. There are scoundrels with little moral compunction here, just like back on Earth. As Duchess of Romstead, seeing their punishment as swift and brutal as possible is my responsibility. She frowned disapprovingly at them. You should have stayed at my castle last night, where there are guards and high walls. It's worse than just a murder, Malik added, addressing his daughter directly. Sweetie, the man who was murdered was one of my information brokers, the one I rely on for information about exotic magic. Whoever killed him got away with all kinds of important documents. I'm afraid that finding anything about Theodosian is going to be much harder now. Remy was frozen for a moment, unable to respond. Nightingale's life depended on learning the truth about Theodosian, and her best hope for finding it had just been murdered. Well then, we'll just have to track down the one who did it. We've already fought dozens of monsters. What's a few more? Malik's expression twisted with a wave of mixed emotions. I promised your mother I wouldn't get you involved in all this. Let me handle this. There is danger here you can't imagine. I'm not going to sit by and watch my friend die because some asshole stole the papers we need. Remy put a hand on her hip and tried not to look frail in the presence of her father. Grace interjected, sounding annoyed. Watch your friend die? Nightingale shot Remy an angry glance, and Remy realized what she had just said. Remy sheepishly looked over and saw that both her father and Grace were looking at her, expecting an explanation. It's really important we find more about Theodosian. Nightingale's life might depend on it, Remy pleaded. What? Grace's eyes went wide. Where is Balthazar in all this? Why is his daughter in such a perilous position? He'd have our heads if he even knew she was in this room. If we got Nightingale killed by letting her quest on her own, we'd be lucky if our heads were the only ones the arsons took. Malik nodded in agreement. Grace is right, Remy. You can't get involved. If anything happened to any of you, it would mean trouble for all of us. Please, just let us take care of it. If we hear anything, we'll let you know. Remy glared back. Yeah? She glanced over her shoulder at her friends. They all watched her, including Nightingale. She was obviously trying to hide it, but there was a look of desperation in Nightingale's eyes. It was more than Remy could stand. Fine. Whatever. You just take care of it then. She turned away. Find me if you change your mind. We'll just stay out of your way. She stormed past her friends, dragging Nightingale by her wrist. They followed her out the doors of the room and around a corner. Remy! Malik yelled after her, but she kept moving, ignoring her father. She didn't hear the rest of what Malik had to say because by then she'd already made it to the front door. She held it open for her friends before slamming it shut and glaring at the guards, daring them to try to make her stay. They didn't.
Sneaking into the crime scene. It sounds like we're up to some no good here.
Yeah, shenanigans.
You good to go? Sneaking into the crime scene?
Let's do it.
There we go.
sneaking into the crime scene. They didn't go far from Malik's manor. They walked to the nearest central intersection where a great stone balcony protected pedestrians from an impressive drop down into the city's lower tiers and towards the ocean. Nightingale found it hard to appreciate the view just now. Malik's informant had been murdered, and with him, her own future might be dead too. She turned her back on the ocean, facing her concerned friends. "Well, we obviously can't wait." She tried to keep the desperation and fear out of her voice, though she wasn't sure she'd done a convincing job. "You're right," Rook said. "So what should we do? Find another informant somewhere else?" "No," Nightingale replied. "This one apparently already had what we needed. There might not be anybody else in the whole damn kingdom who knows about Theodosian magic." Zeke looked out of the ocean. "Maybe not. But how can we find a killer the authorities can't?" "I can take you there." A horrible voice inside of Nightingale's head resonated. It sounded like a thought, except that it wasn't her own. There was a distinctly alien quality about it, one that produced an involuntary wave of nausea along with it. Startled by the voice, Nightingale jumped back, striking the stone railing with her tail. She didn't fall, though it did sting painfully where she'd hit her tail. She looked around, but found only her friend staring at her. "Theodosian leaves a stain on your world wherever it goes, much like humans do." With each new word, a wave of nausea hit Nightingale, making her feel unsteady. How could a thought sound so smug, so full of itself? She wanted to hit something, but the only thing in front of her was Zeke looking dumbly at her behind a cigarette. "Why don't you come out so I can kick your ass?" Nightingale said with a panicked voice. Zeke looked around and then back to the princess. Night? Are you okay?" She stumbled and clung to Zeke's arm so that she wouldn't fall. "It's talking to me," Nightingale said, feeling sick. Her friends all glanced at each other, their eyes full of worry. "Night?" Zeke mumbled, putting an arm around her. "Are you okay?" Nightingale didn't say anything. After a few moments of silence from the Malama, Nightingale regained her composure and stood without Zeke's help. "It's talking to you? The Malama?" Rook asked, glancing around them nervously as if the creature would appear at any moment. Nightingale nodded, her eyes wide. "I heard it back in Balthazar's study. I was hoping that it was just—" She shook her head and trailed off. "What did it say?" Rook was curious, though he felt a little bad about it. "It doesn't matter. It's gone now. I'm okay." Nightingale's color slowly started to return to her face. Zeke looked concerned, but he didn't ask about the voice in her head. Instead, he proposed a plan. "I suggest we just find out where the murder happened." Zeke wearily watched Nightingale, his cigarette drooping to one side of his mouth. "My cousin rules this city, right? And if the murder is such a big deal, I bet everybody is talking about it. We could just ask around and see where it happened. The crime scene should be a good place to start." Nightingale nodded. "Maybe we'll get lucky and the murderer left behind the info we need." It seemed like wishful thinking, but Nightingale didn't much mind. They found the informant's house after less than an hour of searching. Zeke had been right. All he had to do was ask, and anyone who knew his family was happy to point them in the right direction. They found the house on one of the lowest levels of the city, only just above the ocean itself. Unfortunately, when they arrived, the house was guarded. Outside, its doors were flanked by 2 men. Though they were clearly not with the City Watch, they wore the same black as Malik's house guards and lurked near the house instead of standing out in the open. "You guys wait here." Remy slid her tools away, straightening herself. "I'll talk to the guards, then let you in from the inside." Rook frowned. "Are you sure, Remy? Those aren't city guards and it's already dark. You sure they won't try something?" She nodded. "They're Black Hand. They'll know Malik's daughter even if they never met me. They'll listen." "What's the Black Hand?" Zeke asked, glancing once around the corner at the guards. "Sounds like a shady group." "It's my dad's organization." Remy's confidence faltered at Zeke's mention of them being shady. "I know my dad's in charge of the group. I think they must be spies or private contractors for the aristocracies." She shook her head vigorously. "We have bigger problems right now. You guys hold on." Remy left them. "Yeah, that's not a super shady response," Zeke scratched at the back of his head, watching Remy approach the black handguards from afar. Her dad looks like a supervillain, and he has henchmen? That's strike 2, I think. Rook held up a hand with an angry, shushing noise, and Zeke went silent. They watched as Remy strode out onto the street, walking straight for the door. "Excuse me, you two," she called. "I have a message from my father, Malik." Nightingale watched a few minutes of tense conversation from behind a stunted shrub, not moving so as to blend into the shadows. Zeke and Rook waited beside her, all three of them ready to spring to Remy's aid if she needed it. She didn't, and soon enough the guards left in a hurry. After they'd left, Remy entered the house, and a long minute passed before her face appeared from the now open front door. She waved at them urgently to come towards her. "No way! Good job!" Nightingale said as she moved towards Remy. "What did you tell those guards to get them to leave?" Nightingale stopped talking as she neared Remy and saw her face. It was pale, and Remy's eyes were wide, irises lost in her round pupils. Nightingale was about to ask what was wrong when the stench hit her, and she nearly doubled over to retch. The odor was heady, and so thick she could practically see the haze floating through the house, like rotting, half-cooked meat left out long enough to get maggoty. "Sweet Jesus, what is that?" Zeke sounded just as queasy as Nightingale felt. "It looks worse than it smells," Remy answered, her voice barely a squeak. She wasn't lying. As the group shut the door behind them, Nightingale had to pause to take in the gruesome sight. If Nightingale imagined what it might be like for someone to explode from the inside, she wouldn't have been far off. Blood and bits of flesh coated every surface of the small front room. It was concentrated around a desk and chair in a series of gruesome splatters. Where much of the wreckage was mercifully blended gore, there were frighteningly human pieces scattered about too. Some bits looked like they'd almost been cooked, while others were raw and had flies buzzing around them in low circles. Nightingale found a clean corner of the house to vomit. She spent several minutes hyperventilating, trying and failing to ignore the smell. When she finally returned to where her friends were, she found them investigating. They were huddled around a black ledger. Behind them, Surrey was floating and reading the ledger over Rook's shoulder. Surrey was still formed of light, and the violet glow she brought made the room even more ghastly. Nightingale swayed a bit as she listened to Rook read. Anzu of the pure waters recovered 19 talents of gold. Pascal's scepter of rubies. Lord Bier, 1 carved puzzle. Surrey cut him off. Those names should not be here. She flowed across the room, glancing about. Rook, these names came from my realm. Every one of them has been killed. On Middara? Zeke frowned down at the list. There are that many of you here? She nodded. We are all subject to the rules of this world in different ways. Those are all dark names, but that does not justify the way they died. Blue storm clouds seemed to roll about Surrey's feet, cracking with thunder that didn't produce sound. That might be property stolen from the dead. Dangerous spoils, Rook. Your kind should not tamper with the possessions of creatures like these. Rook shut the book, tucking it away into a massive pocket. So what? This guy was peddling rare and dangerous artifacts? Maybe someone or something killed him for the artifacts. Rook glanced around the room. I mean, I don't see any of them here. Zeke shrugged. I'd rather think about this outside. Good idea. Remy still looked pale as she led the way towards the door. I could use some fresh air. They were almost to the back door when something crashed from below the house. A faint female voice sounded from somewhere just below the floorboards, though Nightingale couldn't make out the words. Rook pointed silently to a scuffed patch of the floor just in front of them. He reached down and pulled sharply on an uneven junction between 2 floorboards. A hatch swung open, revealing a ladder down into the gloom. The interior might be dark, but it was thankfully devoid of blood. There was no need for deliberation. Nightingale followed Rook down the ladder, Remy and Zeke just behind her. It led to a cellar bigger than the whole house above it. Shelves had been carved into the walls and all were full. Hello? Nightingale called into the dark, stepping forward a little. Is someone there? She already had her weapon drawn. After all, this might very well be the killer. Hello? Someone replied from the darkness, imitating Nightingale's fearful tone perfectly. Is someone there? They froze, and then a female form contorted within the darkness. It walked strangely, jerking and stumbling along. With a snap of her fingers, the cellar lit in a purple glow as huge eyes opened seemingly from nowhere.
Uh-oh.
Boss
Who is this new friend of ours?
I like this line that wasn't in the voiceover. It looked like the room's occupant had been microwaved until he exploded. That's nice and
I like that Rook has a pocket large enough to accommodate what was described as a ledger. Like, every ledger I've ever seen is basically 11 by 18.
He has a massive pocket. That's why he can carry 4 consumables instead of 3. Rook's massive pocket. Continue to boss fight Melody. I wonder if there's a boss fight.
Maybe we can role play our way through this one. Skill challenge.
This is Melody. Doesn't look that dangerous. I'm sure we're perfectly safe.
Perfectly. What are these eyes? I don't like it.
Yeah, we got some big, scary Eye of Sauron looking things.
fight, Melody. Strange eyes hover in the darkness. They eerily watch in silence while emanating a purple glow that shines across the damp wooden floor of the cellar. The woman on the far end of the cellar contorts inhumanly and stares in your direction.
She's contorting inhumanly. That's generally a bad sign. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got Melody there. We've got an eye, another eye, another eye, another eye, and we start over here in these squares. Special encounter rule. So we have to defeat Melody, or we are defeated. The subjugated oblation. When setting up this encounter, reveal small and hidden cards. We have those. When she's defeated, read the following hidden text. When setting up this encounter, after dealing the initiative cards, so we'll deal the initiative cards. Then you move her forward 1 spot. Oh, Rook's going to go first, though. That's good. Eyes of Magdalene. These tokens represent the magical presence of an otherworldly being Melody has brought to this realm. These tokens may be targeted by attacks and spells as though they were a figure. In addition, an adventurer may occupy their space and may target them while occupying their space. These tokens have 5 hit points, 10 defense, no armor, and a conviction of 2 purple dice. Eyes of Magdalene do not make break attacks and do not drop combatant loot. If Melody ever places an Eye of Magdalene, players roll 2 purple and consult the chart below to determine how many are placed. On a 2 to 9, you place 1. On a 10 to 14, you place 2. Anytime eye tokens are placed, players always place the first eye token on tile UM69 on the farthest space possible from adventurers. Then they place a second eye, if required, on tile UM71 on the farthest space possible from adventurers. There may never be more than 4 Eyes of Magdalene on the board. At the start of Melody's first turn, choose a random adventurer and read the following hidden text. The first time Melody has damage tokens placed on her card, after placing any eye tokens, read the following hidden text. Loot level is common. Okay. So, who's going to control the Melody, you or me?
You can control Melody.
Alright. So, hey, no problem. She only has 30 health. This will be easy, LOL.
Melody has nimble. What is that?
Nimble. Real quick. Combatant tags. H56. Oh, no, it's not on that page. Need to look in regular tags. Page 32. Nimble.
What the hell?
The first time each turn this figure can dodge an attack, they dodge. And if they don't roll a skull, they add one shield to the result.
Okay.
She draws line of sight as though she occupies the same space as all eyes of Magdalene in addition to the space she occupies. When she would be dealt damage, and there are still eyes of Magdalene on the board, reduce that damage to 0. If damage was reduced to 0 this way, deal 1 irreducible damage to all eyes of Magdalene instead. After Melody is dealt damage, place an eye of Magdalene on the board. She's going to be inflicting condemn on all opponents within line of sight. If there's no opponents adjacent. So we want to keep someone adjacent to her. Because that's really bad. Is there an opponent adjacent? She attacks each opponent within reach 2. Then she swaps places with the farthest opponent within line of sight. Continues down. Why not? Oh yeah, she summons an Exalted Esper. Then after that, she just casts a spell. And rolls and does a grip of magic damage. Her combat dice is 2 red. Alright, so she's a lot of fun for the whole family. A lot of fun for the whole family. So we need to place ourselves onto the board. And this room has a lot of blocking terrain in it as well, which makes things interesting. Which squares are we in? We're in these 4 squares. So yeah. I guess Rook goes first. So what kind of strat do you want to, what do you want to do here?
Well, I'm thinking this is a good first use of the Augur's Pager.
Let me save the game real quick. You think so, huh?
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, what would you do with the Augur's Pager?
Move Melody to the end of the initiative track.
What is that going to do for us exactly?
Well, it will give us the round to act before she does what looks like a bunch of bullshit. Condemn requires you to roll the black die, so you wouldn't. We'd have a round where we're not having to do that.
Well, the question is, can Rook get adjacent to her? Because if Rook can get adjacent to her, she won't even do the condemn thing.
Yes, easily. Okay.
I don't know if using the pager would do us much good here. I mean, it's up to you if you want to use it. If you save it, it can be used to like manipulate who's going to get attacked or whatever based on who's in the front of the initiative order, or like prevent her from getting 2 turns in a row, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But, you know, if you feel like it will actually make a significant difference to use it now, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I mean, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, as long as somebody's adjacent to her, she won't do the condemn thing.
All right. So yeah, then what Rook is gonna do? It's gonna be 2 stamina. I'll be right there. Now, do we want to try and... I don't know. Do we kill the eyes? Do we ignore the eyes and just keep hitting her until all the eyes are dead?
Well, okay, so if we hit her, all the eyes are going to take 1 damage, which means we need to hit her 5 times, and that'll kill all the eyes. And then we hit her once, and she'll spawn 1 or 2 new eyes. And then we got to hit her 5 times to kill those eyes. If we kill the eyes them directly, we kill the 4 eyes, and then we hit her once, and she'll spawn 1 or 2 new eyes. So, I think maybe going after the eyes first is better.
Okay.
Because there's no way to do extra damage to the eyes or her by hitting her directly until the eyes are gone, right? So...
Right.
The eyes are easy to take out, so we should be able to pop off the eyes quickly if we want to just kill them first.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, that's all that Rook's going to do is just move to get into position. We'll save that stamina point for... in case we have the opportunity to do something. I don't know. That's it for Rook. Melody.
I mean, technically, I'm just looking at this.
What?
I'm not seeing any reason why it wouldn't work. Technically, falling in a pit is not being dealt damage.
Yeah, but the bosses automatically pass that check.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that. The boss automatically passes that check. Right. Okay. That's why you don't use it on bosses. I always forget. Why? Okay. So Rook is done. So Melody, she has an opponent adjacent, so she's not going to condemn everyone. She's going to make a separate melee attack against each opponent within reach, too. So are you going to dodge this?
Yep, dodging. Too many belts.
Holy shit.
Okay, so defense is 13 right now.
Attack roll is 18.
Okay, so that's a hit of 5.
5. So that's 5 regular damage, plus 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 magic damage.
Oh.
Unless you want to start canceling some symbols or making her re-roll.
Yeah,
or
let's see. What was her
something.
roll?
Her roll was literally 2 9s. With all the symbols.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna strip both of those symbols.
I mean, you could,
gonna-
or you could forebode and make her just re-roll both those dice.
Oh yeah, good call. Let's do that.
So if you use forebode, now she's got a completely... Oh, see, now her roll's much less bad. So, I mean, she still hit you. Wait, what was
I
your
don't think
defense?
so. Yeah, my defense is 13 right now.
Oh, yeah, so she actually missed.
Okay,
That's good. You could counter if you wish.
I
Which
do
will
it.
do a little bit of irreducible to the eyes if you hurt her.
No, 7.
Okay. So that's fine. Then, swap places with the farthest opponent within line of sight. I don't think she has any other opponents within
hold
line
up.
of sight. Yeah?
Does she have any armor?
Armor. Nope, she doesn't.
Okay, then I'm gonna exhaust the barbed breastplate to deal 3 physical damage to her.
Oh, nice. So that would actually do 1 damage to all the eyes. We're supposed to be setting these dice to... You know, instead of these dice...
Yeah, I didn't know how easy they'd be to manipulate.
I think we'll use these things. These damage counters. You just put 1 damage on each of those. So, bar breastplate, cool. So after she does that, she's going to swap places with the farthest opponent within line of sight. Fortunately, the only person within line of sight is Rook.
No, she has line of sight of all of her eyes.
Oh, she has line of sight of all of her eyes. Of course she does. So the farthest opponent would be Zeke, I guess.
Yep.
So Zeke gets put over here. Melody gets put over here. Then continue down. Is there an opponent within line of sight and this ability has not been used this encounter? Yes. She's going to summon the Exalted Esper Minos the Contractor. So the Exalted Esper, here's Minos the Contractor. He's got a long contract there, as you can see. Against the opponent with the highest total armor value within line of sight, which would be Rook. An opponent within SOI, which would be Rook, is dealt magic damage equal to the number rolled using both of their conviction dice. So you've got to roll Rook's conviction dice and take it to the face.
Well, I don't want to do that. Oh, I rolled really well, too.
I know.
12
I see that you did.
Damage.
You don't have anything that'll just automatically prevent all that, right? That's physical damage. That's physical damage. So I think you're taking
I've
that
already
whole
been
12.
forebode.
You're taking that 12. And you get condemned. So Rook is also condemned.
Oof.
Fortunately, she only gets to use Minos the Contractor once in the entire encounter. And then that's it. She doesn't continue down. So she's done. So it's Remy's turn. Well, Remy, is gonna... Oh, fuck. Now she's gonna provoke a break attack if she goes and tries to attack fucking eyes. A break attack from 2 red dice. That's not great.
No. It might be that we just kind of have to break some of these eyes down by attacking her.
Yeah, maybe so. Chains of Command? Possibly could help here. Oh, but what's her conviction? It's really good. It's really good. Okay, so let's go ahead. I mean, if I provoked a break attack... I don't know. Would
Well,
be
someone
better,
has to
probably.
stay adjacent to her.
True. We do need
I mean,
somebody to stay adjacent to her. But see,
Nightingale's fine.
she can stay adjacent and still attack an eye, right?
Yeah.
Well, can she? I mean, she can stay. I
Wait,
don't
I've
think
got
she can stay.
something. Yeah, I've got a ghost canister I can get you that will allow you to dodge the break attack.
I still need to know if dodging during a break attack cancels your movement, though. I thought at one point that it didn't and that only countering did. But I can't remember if that's right or... Let me just look at something real quick here. Break attack, page 46. Maybe it's just countering. Oh, I see. It is, because countering is an action, such as making an attack via counter, whereas dodging is an ability, not an action. So you can dodge when you provoke a break attack, you just can't counter without stopping your movement. So she didn't even need the ghost canister thing. I mean, you might as well use the ghost canister thing because it's so situational. You're only going to get to use it, right? So yeah, you might as well use the ghost canister thing. Then she'll dodge. Oh, good. So she's got a 14. She's got a 14 defense against this. And she rolled a 15. Or she
2 red dice.
So she hit for 1 plus 3 magic damage. Well, the 1 is going to be stopped by too many belts. But the 3 magic damage she's going to take.
That her symbols are magic damage is oof.
Yeah, it is oof. It's very oof. Alright, so the good news is she gets away. She's going to move to here. She's going to attack this eye. Rolling 2 teal dice. Alright, so the eyes are only 10 defense, 5 hit points. So she kills the eye. So that eye comes off the board. And she can't really do anything else. So she's done. Oh, she could flip this card. Not that it's really that useful. Deal magic damage equal to the damage they dealt you. She could flip this card from getting hit just now, which would do another point of damage to all of the eyes, at least.
Okay.
Alright, so... that's the end of Remy's turn. What is Nightingale gonna do?
Well, Nightingale, I think she's just going to go after that eye up there. Well, first of all, we're going to...
I think she might have to move a little bit. I think this thing that she's next to kind of blocks.
You think?
I don't know. Maybe not. I guess not. No, I guess she's good.
All right, she's gonna give Remy haste.
Oh, she's got that fat 6 SOI now.
Yeah.
Alright, so haste for Remy.
Actually, I might attack the boss because I can get Wilt and Condemn on her and then possibly force her to roll the skull.
Oh, it doesn't say she's immune to condemn, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. What's her conviction look like? Ugh.
It's really good, but... Oh, yeah. That's right, because she's not immune to conviction, per se. So, I mean, she's not immune to condemn. So that's the way forward right there.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So yeah, haste on Remy. Did you get that?
Sure, haste on Remy, got it.
And then we're rolling against... what's her name? Melody. Okay, force 11.
You only got a 9!
All right, Wilt. Which will also help get some damage around her ridiculous nonsense.
Yeah, so if you get her with it one more time, it's basically game over. Oh yeah, I think I killed Melody this way the last time. Now that you mention it, I think I did this exact thing on Melody the last time I fought her, because I had fortune telling at the time and euthanasia. I didn't do it the first time I fought her. The first time I fought her, I didn't have those skills. And I had to actually beat down all the eyes and everything. But yeah, the condemn thing is the way forward.
I'm going to go ahead and do ambitious.
So we forgot something important.
What did we forget?
We forgot something important. At the start of Melody's first turn, you choose a random adventurer and read the following hidden text.
Oh no.
So, how do we choose a random adventurer?
I think you can get a quick D4.
Right, how do we get a D4? Dice. D4. So we've got a D4.
So let's just say roll it, and then whatever comes corresponds to the initiative track from left to right. 1, so Rook.
Okay, so this would have happened after Rook's turn. Okay, so right, something happens. Hey, Sin, how you doing? Welcome. Game's going well. Thanks. What's going on with you, Sin? You feel a strange sinking feeling in your gut as ethereal strings tug at your very soul and stitch it to someone else's. Gain the Tether token. This token cannot normally be removed. Where's the Tether token? One of these is the Tether token, isn't it? Tether? Tether. You get the Tether token on Rook. At the end of this encounter, or when the adventurer with the token is defeated, remove the Tether token. Anytime Melody is dealt damage, you are dealt that much irreducible damage. anytime Melody heals, you heal the same amount.
Wow. At least she doesn't get my heals.
Right. But so yeah, if we did do damage to him, you'd be dealt the same damage. But I don't think we have to worry about that for condemn purposes.
No.
And she hasn't been dealt any damage yet, so we didn't miss any important. You just watched Star Trek Strange New World, so just chilling. What is that? Is that a new show? A new series? And we got to remember to read a special thing the first time she takes damage.
Okay. Well, I am going to go ahead and use my encounter action Ambitious to get 2 stamina points back, 1 for everybody else.
Okay.
And then we are going to euthanize her again.
Double youth.
Well, I think we're going to re-roll that.
Rerolling that.
God damn it.
Ah, fuck. Prequel to The Next Generation? Oh, really?
I think we're re-rolling that.
Rerolling that. There
Fuck
you
you.
go.
Okay, Force 11.
Force 11. No.
Oh,
Not even close. Got a 14.
okay. So that's it for Nightingale. Zeke.
Zeke's turn, huh? Okay. So Zeke is way on the other side of the map now. What I really want Zeke to do is give out some important buffs. Also, heal Rook, right? Because Rook took a bunch of damage.
Yeah. He's down 12.
So, alright, well, Rook is right next to him. So he's going to heal Rook for 6.
Okay, thank you.
He's also going to give Barrier to Rook. He's also going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He'll move to there. He'll give intervention to Nightingale. So she can have another reroll when she's trying to do her next euthanasia.
Thank you.
And then he might as well shoot an eye. Oh, he can't shoot an eye now. Well, shit. Maybe
Can't shoot her. Do
Yeah,
damage to all the eyes.
Yeah, he could shoot her. Do damage to all the eyes. Why not? Why not have a blast shooting her and doing damage to all the eyes? So he's shooting with a orange and teal. Oh, wow. Okay, he'll use the quiver. Reroll that. Alright, that's an 11. Oh, that actually misses her still.
Yeesh, 12 defense.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's not that important that he hits her, really. Since we're going for the condemn kill. Alright, he's done. New
Okay.
round. So Remy starts. Remy's hasted. He gets all the staminas. she's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She'll come over here and just hit this eye, I guess. 4 damage. That's enough to kill it. So she kills that eye. And she'll spend 1 stamina to do a point of diagonal free movement. And she's done. Means it's Nightingale's turn. Here we go. This is the important shit.
Okay.
What did you... Oh, you're...
Just wanted to make sure. She's still outside of it. Okay, well, she's going to spend 1 stamina point and do a point of damage to herself through the infection to give herself haste.
Sounds good.
And then, yeah, we're euthanizing the boss.
You can do it. It was almost a 7.
Force 12.
Force 12. Yes, it worked.
All right, so 1 point of damage to all the eyes. And she is
gets
condemned.
So condemned. Sweet. So basically, next round, as long as you're within her SOI when her turn starts, she dies.
Right.
I mean, not next round, whenever her turn starts, actually.
Yeah.
Which is great. Easy boss fight.
So that's it. She's done. Rook.
Alright, Rook is condemned.
Rook's condemned. He's got to roll.
What?
Rook's got a bottled blessing. Bottled blessing to re-roll. Okay, Rook is still alive. Still with us.
Rook is still with us. Good. So what's he gonna do?
Well, he's going to attack this eye up here that he has line of sight to. Courage Stifle. Force 11. So, what's it, 2 purple dice?
Mm-hmm.
You want to roll that?
Got a 9.
So that one's dead.
Yep.
Then spend a point to move to there, and 2 more points to Courage Stifle that eye. Even better. Force 13.
It got a 13.
Okay. So that's it for Rook. Zeke.
Well, Zeke, is going to move here. I guess he'll just shoot that eye for the lulz. Okay. That's terrible. That was actually a 2, I think, wasn't it?
I didn't see.
Well, he did enough
Well,
damage.
reroll
He did enough damage to kill the eye.
Okay.
So there's no more eyes. He could also give barrier to Nightingale. Nightingale can have a barrier.
Thank you.
And Rook can have an intervention. And I think that's it for him.
Okay.
So Melody starts her turn. She is condemned. She rolls the black die. Oh, she didn't get a skull.
Well, I am going to force her to have a skull.
Choose the result of a single die. It's a skull.
It's a skull.
She is defeated.
So, you mind if I see what happens if we had actually done damage to her?
Yeah. She screeches at her fresh wound. In a high-pitched voice, she screams, "I'll kill you," over and over as she waves her hands through the air. With a loud crack, the floorboards explode. Oh, that's right. It's really good that this didn't happen. All around you, and 2 women claw out from beneath the dirt with large weapons. You realize in horror that this crazy girl is a summoner of some sort, and she's brought some friends to aid her in the fight. Spawn the twin Savani, adjacent to the adventurer who dealt damage to Melody, which they're pretty tough. When placing these 2 figures, if possible, place them in a flanking position, then continue your turn as normal. Yeah, so if you damage her, she summons these 2 espers. These are actually espers that you can summon if you have the summoning discipline. I used them a lot, actually, when I did the summoning on one of my two runs. But yeah, they're pretty dangerous. So it's good that she didn't summon those. But instead, she's defeated. Gain the Oblation's Expiation Living Oblation monster loot. It doesn't say not to draw a normal loot card. So the
We
monster
also got 7 gold.
Nice. The Oblation's Expiation is this card, which is a armor. Gives you 1 defense. An armor that gives you defense. That stacks with the defense from your core. Gives you movement speed. Doesn't give you armor. Gives you a dodge with a free counter. Okay, so it's like a shirt. It's like a shirt, but I'm just moving your shirt for a side-by-side comparison. What you would lose is 3 health. What you would gain is a point of defense. Oh, yeah. And that's it. And other than that, they're identical. So I don't know if that's all that great. I mean, it's not bad. You might want to use it.
Yeah, I like having a defense at 12. I think that's a good trade-off for 3 health. I mean, that does make her health low. She's only going to have 12.
Well, she has 4 more if she's wearing Ethereum Couture.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
She only has the lowest when she takes that off.
So yeah, I think I am gonna try that out. Actually, I like the move. Well, the movement stays the same, but yeah, the toughness of 12. That's good. It's gonna be even more than that now. Actually, it's gonna be 13
Why would it be 13?
because I get 2 from the core, 1 from the armor. So
Yeah, but
plus
your base
3.
is only 9.
Oh, 9.
So it'll be 12, yeah. So we got that. That's a thing. Melody never got a chance to summon anybody. She didn't really do much to us, and we defeated her pretty easily. We never even had to worry about the tether damage on Rook.
Yeah.
So that was quick and easy. Thanks to the power of fucking fortune telling. I told you that's
Right.
a good. I told you it's a good discipline. Most bosses are immune to condemn, though. Can't really do that very often. Continue to set her free, page 93. Okay, 1 second. Page 93.
And we did get a restore adventurers, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. We also get an XP and a restore adventurers. So XP goes to 4 on everybody. Defeated. What are you doing up there?
Trying to get some more tokens, but it's not cooperating very well.
Melody's card. Just gonna put it back in this initiative stack over here.
Okay.
Okay, so continue to set her free, page 93. So let's see. You ready?
Ready.
Set her free. The woman had collapsed from the weight of her wounds, blood pooling out about her. Her summons were gone, and she stared down at her ruined body in shock. Despite the damage, her voice sounded only surprised. Human flesh is so feeble, she muttered. The monster held out one arm in front of her. She was almost surgical in the way she inspected her many wounds. She shook as she pushed her scraps of clothing against a deep gash in her belly. But it did little to stop the bleeding. Rook wasn't fooled. He held out an arm, blocking Nightingale's path to help the fallen woman. She isn't what she appears. That thing isn't human. Nightingale glared at him, though she didn't try to force her way past. Rook, she's dying. We can't just let her bleed to death. Rook didn't budge. Nightingale, do you know what this thing is? She retreated a step, frowning. No. Just past him, the imitation of a woman laughed and cackled. Listen to the big one. He sounds like he knows. Listen while you can. She didn't even sound angry, only resigned. Rook ignored her. I wasn't sure at first, but I'm quite certain now. They call monsters like this living oblations. You make one deal too many, and eventually the only thing you have left to bargain with is yourself. Something drags you out and takes your body for itself. Whoever this was, she may have been dead for years, decades even. Is that true? Remy asked from his other side. Melody. The monster sounded afraid, suddenly gasping from the pain obvious in the damage to her body. My name was Melody, before I sold myself. It was as if whatever controlled her momentarily let go. Or perhaps they were always both there. See? Nightingale surged forward, moving to duck under Rook's arm. He stepped in front of her, blocking the way even more thoroughly than it had been before. She's not gone. You're still you, aren't you, Melody? The woman's head tilted violently to one side, swiveling to look up at Nightingale. Her mouth opened too wide, and she laughed. Of course I am. Who else would I be? We can't know. Rook lowered his arms, no longer blocking the way. The creature inside of her can make the body do whatever it wants. Even if this person was Melody, and we'd known them before, we couldn't be sure. He looked down at the creature. Why are you here? Did you cause what happened upstairs? No, she hissed. Malik ordered me to protect the basement. He doesn't like snoopers. Her tone changed, suddenly pained and desperate and human again. Well, a shocking imitation of human. Please leave me be. I'll heal. I know it looks bad, but I'll heal. If Malik doesn't learn I failed, I'll be safe. Just go. Rook felt the brief pressure on his soul, the faint magic Suri used to look through his eyes, then the momentary weakness as she borrowed some of his strength to manifest. She took shape far quicker than usual, taking an almost solid humanoid form in less than a second. Suri approached the fallen woman without fear, then turned her back on her to meet Rook's eyes. You must kill this creature. Quiet. This doesn't concern you, Melody hissed, suddenly angry again. She lurched towards Suri, but only made it a few inches before her horrific wounds forced her to stop. Suri pleaded to Rook. It has no business in this realm. It's just another intruder from Arkella leeching from your world. She looked from Rook to his friends. Only if you kill the host can the Great Bounty pass judgment on this criminal. Any other action will allow it to stay hidden from the Great Bounty. Nightingale looked confused. Suri, what exactly is the Great Bounty? Suri swished in the air in frustration. Stupid girl! Don't use my name in front of it! Suri's sudden outburst caused Nightingale to take a step back. They are the self-appointed interdimensional enforcers of reality, Suri said, still throwing Nightingale a dirty look. Beings of great power who don't like realms meddling with each other, especially not those from Arkella. Now kill her so that they can claim what they want. No, Zeke said. You're gonna have to explain more than that. Sounds like some real comic book shit. I've read about it, Rick explained. If any of you paid attention in assemblage, you would have too. They say that there is an open bounty put on any creatures found in violation of the rules established between dimensions. Espers hail from realms outside of Middara. However, many are allowed to be summoned, bound, or used in any way the contract with their summoner permits. Certain realms are considered off limits, Arkella being one of them. It's likely the reason the Malum is hiding in Nightingale and has no interest in manifesting. I guess this creature is the same. Staying inside of another body allows it to hide from the Great Bounty. If we kill its host, it will be vulnerable. The Great Bounty will be alerted to its meddling in this world. Remy asked without thinking first. What about Suri then? Isn't she from Arkella too? Melody laughed, but it quickly turned into a coughing fit. After she spit out some blood, she affirmed Remy's concern. Yes, she's just afraid that if you let me go, she might be on the hook as well. Naughty girl. Breaking the rules. The creature smiled wickedly at Suri before saying the name. Suri is as guilty as me, host or no host. Suri snarled, showing a pair of razor-like teeth and red glowing eyes. I am not the same as you. I appear out of curiosity and in brief spurts using this relic. Suri motioned towards a matching amulet around her own neck. You steal men's souls and make them your slaves. Rook, she must die.
We have to make a decision.
Yeah, I think she dies.
Kill Melody, Suri knows best. Let her live, she might be useful. You think she dies, huh?
We've got to do it for the greater good.
I kind of want to let her live.
Did you kill her last time?
I don't remember. I mean, I think I probably did it both different ways. Don't remember what happens exactly.
Oh, we can do it both ways if you want.
No, I mean, I played through this twice, so I did it two
Oh, I see
different
what
ways.
you're saying. Okay.
I don't remember exactly how things play out. But, yeah, I mean, we could flip a coin.
No, I'm fine with letting her live. I don't have a strong opinion either way.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because when bad things happen, I'm going to be like, Tim said it was fine to let her live. Blaming Tim.
I'm on record as wanting to kill her, but no, now that I've said that, we can absolutely do what you want.
On record, he says. So
Well, let the
the
record
two of
reflect.
the two of us have agreed. Let her live.
Following your lead, bud.
I, with Tim's blessing, let her live. All right. It's okay. You know what? I want to flip a coin now. Now I want to flip a coin, or just roll a die, or something. A coin toss seems more fun. I'm gonna get a coin. Getting a quarter. You ready for this? We're flipping it. Oh, but we didn't decide which thing was last and which was death.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Heads, she lives. Oh, looks like she lives.
She lives.
It was
As
random
decided by you.
chance. No one can be blamed, although Tim agreed with this. Basically, it's Tim's fault. No one can be blamed except Tim, no matter what. All right. Continue to It's Not Our Decision to Make, page 96. Be done. What if... Page 96. It's not our decision.
Actually,
to
but
make.
I think we're going to have to leave it off here. So,
All right,
pick up
no
the
problem.
iteration. Next time, looks like we got a lot more story.
Oh,
Tons
you're
of
right.
story.
All right.
And a story
Ryan
round.
shouted mostly to Suri. We agree it should happen, but he glanced.
No. I'm going to pause this on the one that we're on. Okay, so... Games. Yeah, I like how there's a lot of stuff that happens if you fail these encounters. I've never even read these. Like, you read the one that got away one if you actually fail the encounter. And different story flags get marked and you get different things. So it's interesting that like all these encounters have fail conditions that lead to different story outcomes as well. I have hit a game over in this once. There was encounter. There was one encounter that if you fail it a certain way, you get an actual game over. Like the whole campaign is over.
Wow.
So that is possible. But anyway, we're on. It's Not Our Decision to Make. I'll save it here like this. Apparently we're just shuffling the initiative track. Rook goes first. That's great. Oh, before I save, I want to do my restore adventurers. I didn't really clean up my adventurers here. Tokens come off. Things get unexhausted. Stamina goes to normal. Damage goes to normal. Okay. We good to go?
Good to go.
Game. Save and load. Save game. M22. Save. We're done here.
Good times, bud.
Here. Yeah, good times. Times which are good.
See you again on Monday.
Oh, you know what we're going to forget next time unless we do it right now?
What's that?
We're going to forget to Take our 2 free consumables.
Oh,
Load.
yeah.
Let me just load real quick. You don't necessarily have to join in. What do you want? Like a bottle blessing back or another pager?
Yeah, I'll just look
or
on your stream to see what's there. Yeah, I'll take that bottle blessing back.
bottle blessing and
Maybe a warp token?
yeah, warp token's pretty cool. So we'll bring these down here. And then I'll just save over. Okay, cool. Now we're done.
Okay, have a good night, bud.
You too. See you later.